Jon Stone, from military service to injury, now competing in wheelchair basketball and tennis while working on a PhD in history. What part of your journey best explains who you are today?
I would say that probably the day I was born would probably be a
Ah,
good description.
okay, okay.
Uh, because where the day I was born, um my mother, I have an older sister, and she went through I don't know a day of I think in labor, in pain.
Mm.
So the day that I was born, she was going through very gentle contractions.
Oh,
My sister was sick. Um, she was under the weather, and she woke up my mom,
uh-huh.
and my mom is like, "Oh my god, I'm having contractions. We need to go to the hospital."
Okay.
And so, um, on the way there, the car breaks down.
Uh,
And this is Claremont, Brown County in 1979, uh, in the middle of nowhere, and, it's, well, they really thought I was gonna be born on the side of the road.
oh,
Um, Thankfully, I think a policeman came by and got her to the hospital,
okay.
and I was born a couple minutes after they got to the hospital.
Okay.
It
Wow.
was,
Wow.
yeah, it must have been very, stressful
Yeah.
and traumatic. So,
Yeah. So you embrace that in life today? Is that the connection of who you are today versus you being born?
I think I think it was, just how things were gonna go.
Okay, okay.
To
Yeah.
be
Well, I will say we've taken a road trip up to a tennis tournament, wheelchair tennis tournament in Chicago, and I got to know you pretty well in that tennis tournament, and you definitely have quite the life stories. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun tournament. I think,
it was.
yeah, I just felt like, I felt like you were gonna do well,
Yeah.
and I always like to, pump up people that are in my life, or, on my team or whatever it is. I'm so used to playing team sports.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like growing up, the first sport I loved was baseball,
Mm.
and I was a catcher,
Mhm.
and I really enjoyed that aspect of like having all the equipment on, and squatting behind the plate for 2 hours, and
Mhm.
people running into you trying to score. And I really liked that. I got to the point where I used to sleep with my catcher's mitt,
Mm.
because
Wow, okay,
I
interesting.
just loved it so much. And my
Yeah.
coach bought the catcher's mitt from like the league that gives you out equipment, and so I could have it.
Yeah.
Because I loved it so much. And sports were so important
Right.
to me because um it was like a connection to even my grandfather, who he if he had not gotten a job on the riverfront, um construction crew, for the old riverfront stadium in 1965, 66, um my mom wouldn't have met my father,
Oh.
because they were living in Springfield.
Well, so but before you get into that, I do wanna say just going back to Chicago, it
Yeah.
it it was interesting. We did all metal, everybody who from Cincinnati who went,
Right.
which was pretty cool. And the other thing is you said before the tournament that I was gonna win my division. which is A's for anybody. You guys can look it up. John, you did C's, right?
Mhm.
You're borderline B/C players, so that's why I was like, I think you were C during that time.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, it turns out you were right in that prediction. So it was pretty cool. In my adult life, since I was a junior and I've come back to coaching, I wasn't expecting to win or anything like that, and sure enough, I beat a former Paralympian. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I just thought I'm like, I really hope that he thinks that really positively going into these matches,
Yeah.
'cause it's something that me and Mozzie at, UC, that's a teammate of mine that's been on the podcast, we talk about
Yep.
the difference between tennis and basketball and how, mentally challenging it is.
Mm.
Um,
So
so
so we're gonna get into tennis and basketball and all that. That was more of an intro question, and
uh-huh.
we'll get into the details a lot later. I just want to say, everybody, welcome to the Rolling Forward podcast, a podcast of people who keep rolling forward no matter what life throws at them. Real people, real stories, powered by purpose, resilience, and a drive that never ends. I'm Zach Sikora. Spina bifida didn't stop me. It just gave me a better excuse to sit down while I take over the world. Today's funny shirt is, you know what I can't stand? And so here's how to say it. You know what? You know what I can't stand? You know what? I can't stand. And then it says punctuation matters. So really one of my favorite shirts that I have on the store. And if you want a shirt like this, you can find that on rollingforward.printful.me. Pick up your own shirt. And if you have an idea of a good shirt that fits the theme, throw it in the comments. Now, let's go ahead and roll into today's episode. Okay, so John, give us like a 10,000 foot overview of who you are. Which, by the way, if you wanted to call me out on the shirt, now's a good time.
No. What Zach does, he can stand, so, there is it's I'm finding it's very funny where in our adaptive community, there's such diversity
Yeah.
within disabilities, what people can do. Like I've been called an AB, able body, because I can walk,
Yeah.
which it seems kind of cruel because uh, I'm in pain because I can walk.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and it's interesting because so AB it stands for able-bodied, and AB is kind of like a diss, if you will, in the disability community.
yeah,
It's not a compliment, let's say. But if you're an able-bodied person and we call you an able-bodied or an AB, that's not a diss. So
that's just reality.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Anyway, 10,000 foot overview.
well, it's a good question. I mean, I guess we could talk about. I mean, uh, as a kid, me and our family really struggled financially, so it
Mm.
really shaped how I see the world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that especially having a disability from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
um, I had abnormally sized tonsils
Oh.
and adenoids when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to have those taken out, and I went through speech therapy.
Mm.
I went through speech therapy until I was in middle school.
Oh.
Uh, I'll never forget the first fight I got into. It was because of it.
Oh.
I don't know. I might have been 3 at the time, and some kid was making fun of me because I could not say or R,
Oh.
and I would say I could not pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
And this kid was making fun of me, and my mom, instead of maybe going down there and talking to this kid, she said to go punch him.
Oh, no. Was she serious?
She was,
Oh.
a-
Okay.
and I did,
Oh.
and he stopped.
Yeah, I guess that would make somebody stop. Wow.
But I mean, as a father, With my kids, I would not give them that advice. It's
Yeah.
just like sanctioning violence
I
for.
yeah, I mean, it's one thing if someone's, like, punching you to defend yourself and maybe punch him back, but it's another thing just just to punch someone, but that's
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it was New Richmond, and it's a
yeah,
rough. It's a river town, and it's a difficult place.
yeah.
So for sure.
So, you barely scratched the surface on that 10,000-foot o overview, so what just a couple sentence, like, who are you? What are you about?
Why? For me, I think education is very important.
Yeah.
Um, I was a gifted student, so
Mhm.
growing up, but my speech got in the way, and our family kind of got in the way from being one of the in like the gifted students or like the advanced students growing up. So,
Mhm.
but I think that education is has changed my life like sports
Yeah.
has. And I'm super grateful for it. I mean, it's challenged the way that I think, at least going in college. So yeah, I have 4 degrees. So
Nice.
um, and but I barely graduated from high school.
Oh.
I had a 1.9 GPA.
Whoa, okay. What, was you are I can vouch for you. You are extremely smart. From what you've told me, you have a photographic memory, is that correct?
Hmm.
Yeah, and so I mean, being as smart as you are, what caused the 1.9 GPA? What do you think?
Well, basically when I could not be in when I couldn't be in the gifted classes, I just got thrown in with everyone else.
It was too easy.
Yeah, and I was totally bored.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't even know if I graduate from high school if I'm not playing 3 sports. I really was just trying to be eligible.
Mhm.
Because I was so bored and I was so unchallenged and then considered like, oh, well, you're not going to go to college. Um, and I had parents that were abusive and would say things like said I wasn't very smart and different
Mm,
things like that.
mm,
So other than sports, I really did not have a lot of motivation for to excel
mm.
academically.
Interesting.
After the Marine Corps, uh, and I went to college, I was out of that you know, environment growing up, and I really excelled. I was really challenged.
Mm,
Um, and the sky was the limit.
mm.
So for me, and I was on the dean's list, and yeah, I mean, it just being able to be in the right place to be challenged, I think, is pretty important overall.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
and so, but that wasn't the plan.
Yeah,
My plan was in the Marine Corps that they gave out scholarships to exemplary Marines to the Naval Academy.
yeah.
And I was on track for that.
Mm,
And my plan was to go to the Naval Academy and then come back to the Marine Corps and then become an officer
mm,
and serve for 20 years.
yeah,
My uncle, who was a great inspiration to me, was really the star of our family,
mm.
served 27 years in the Navy.
Wow.
Um,
So, real quick, we'll get into your military background,
sure.
in a little bit, but is there so let's get into this. Can you explain how we know each other?
All right. Well, it was almost like a year and a half ago. I heard about uh, s- CTF, and I was curious to play tennis.
That's Cincinnati Tennis Foundation for those that
That's right.
don't know what that is.
Um, and so I showed up, and then at a Wednesday, and nobody was there. So
Mm.
I was like, "Oh man!" And
Oh.
it was we were going through another Cincinnati heat wave summer,
Mm.
and I struggle with humidity really badly.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm like, maybe I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then Jake, shout out to our coach at University of Cincinnati, Jacob Counts. He started an adaptive sports organization or adaptive sports at the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah. He's been on the podcast too.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, maybe I could play for this school. Maybe that would be cool. And I could get my PhD. And
Mhm.
so I started at this time, pretty much this time last year.
Mhm.
First time really picking up a racket.
Yep.
Um yeah, I had never played. Um and it was really really fun. Really it's really challenging. The things I think playing wheelchair tennis or just tennis in general, the way that I think there isn't a lot of things just right off the bat I think about that's has come sort of natural, or it just feels like um that I have to get my head around
Yeah.
certain things. Like, I mean, I feel like now I know how to serve
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
Um, but it seems like it doesn't feel the things that I've done trying tennis, it doesn't feel that comfortable
Mm.
especially at first.
Mhm.
And then after practice, and that has made, all the difference.
Mhm.
So, but I remember our first practices, you're like, okay, you got to do the continental grip
Yeah.
and I would switch the grip.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
Don't
I
get it.
I'd show you the grip, and then right before you'd hit the ball, you'd change it, and I'd be like, "John, don't do that."
I'm
But
like,
so yeah, so how we know each other is you started coming to my tennis practices, and and I coach you in tennis. We've also, as we alluded to, have driven up to other tennis to the Chicago tennis tournament, and hopefully we'll hit up a few more this year. So
that's what I would like to do. I think that, yeah, competing in tournaments really is such a different
it's super fun.
experience. And yeah,
Okay, so before we get into that, another question is: if you weren't here in the studio right now, where would you be
right. You mean
right now?
at this point?
Yep.
Probably hanging out with my kids, probably.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. And
Yeah.
then one of my favorite questions: if you could learn any skill overnight, what would it be?
Huh. That's a good question. Oh, there's so many skills to learn.
I know. One skill. What takes the longest, or what's the most fascinating one that you wanna learn, or
Well, the thing as a historian, I just uh, th- that's what I'm really curious about.
yeah.
As far as it's, well, if I could write a book overnight,
Oh, okay.
just something that takes months and
You'd write it on
years.
history, the book?
Yeah, I would write it. Write about my family actually
Oh, interesting.
in U.S. history.
Ah, cool. Okay.
I would do that because we my the first family member of mine came to this country in 1619.
Oh, wow.
Um,
I wouldn't say that I know my I think it was my great-grandfather, maybe
yeah.
great-great-grandfather that came. I
Oh,
definitely
cool.
don't have it down, and, I'm Ukrainian, so
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
but anyway,
Very cool.
what is the most military habit you still do without thinking about it?
Scan everything.
Scan everything, yeah. Yeah, I've heard some people, that I've been, like, to a restaurant with is they don't like to have their back towards the front door and stuff like
Mhm.
that, so, yeah, interesting.
I mean, I think boot camp, especially for the Marines, it changes your brain.
Yeah.
Um, and there are things like I would like that would be a thing. Neuroscience.
Oh, cool, yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah, I'm fascinated by that.
yeah, I would wonder how did how did our brains get changed? And
Mhm.
if you can change them, can you change them back?
Mhm.
Because
Oh,
I don't need a lot of that stuff being out here. I don't
yeah.
need to be checking for threats. I don't,
Right.
and part of that also is I have PTSD. That's part of that as well, um but I don't, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you a story, like I admired my uncle,
Mhm.
and I was in the junior ROTC, in the Navy,
Mhm.
and I was, like, ready I was that's where I was going,
Mhm.
and we're sitting in our ROTC class one day, and, they said, "Well, we're gonna have a guest speaker today," and it it's a Marine Corps recruiter
Mm.
in his dress blues.
Mm.
And if anyone's ever seen our dress blues, it's quite extraordinary.
M'kay.
And so this guy comes in and he gives a really great speech, and I'm like, that
Mm.
that's what I want to do. I want to
Mm.
wear that uniform. I want to be that guy.
Cool, okay.
And I went to the recruiting station that day. I was only 16 and I was as a junior.
Mm.
Um, and I'm wearing my varsity jacket, and I was the guy that played 3 sports, so I would always wear my varsity jacket.
Mm.
Um, and so I walk into the recruiting office. I remember this. I walked in and I said, I'm like, "Hello," and the recruiter said, Marine Corps recruiter said, "What's up, killer?"
Mm.
And I'm like, "What?" You know, you call me a killer? I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you wanna join the Marine Corps, right?"
Mm.
I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, that's what you wanna be."
Oh.
I'm like, "Oh, wow." He's like, "How old are you, son?" I'm like, "I'm 16." And he said, "Well, um, you're a year young to join our delayed entry program.
Mm.
But if you feel the same way in a year,
Mhm.
come back."
Mm.
And I did.
Cool.
I came back and I was in a delayed entry program and for a year, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, have you seen the TV show Psych?
No, I mean, I've heard of it, but I have not seen it.
So it's one of my favorites. It's basically a guy who is like hyper aware of everything, and he was getting interrogated for something he solved the case on,
Oh, okay.
and they were thinking that he was in on it because he was so perceptive, and he ended up the premise is he ended up telling him that he's psychic, and that's how he knew because he couldn't explain why he was so perceptive, and then that's his stick the entire TV series.
Oh, wow.
And so, the reason why I asked you about that is, like, the way they portray him on the show is, like, he'll enter a crime scene and then look around, and it'll highlight all these things that he's noticing, and then he puts all those pieces together and say, "I think it's this," and so on and so forth. So, I just wonder if the perceptiveness that you have it if it's similar to that, or if you're looking for like a print on someone's waist of a gun or something like that, or can you explain that, like how that perception when you enter a room looks?
I do analyze pretty much everything. I mean, I mean, my brain has always been really analytical.
Yeah.
And it's why I just hated those classes because it was just not being used at
Mm,
all.
mhm,
It was not being challenged.
yeah.
I'll never forget, like, I was in a college prep, only classes that I did great in was history.
Mm.
Because I would read on my own.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these social studies classes are boring,
Yeah.
and I would just read on my own. And I had a grandmother growing up that lived with me
Mhm.
that she had married into our family, but she knew a lot about our history.
Yeah.
So I would learn a lot. I would learn a lot from her stories.
Yeah.
She was really a what now we would call in history an oral historian.
Mm.
She was a great repository of knowledge, and she had like a third grade education.
Okay.
She had to quit school. She grew up in Mount Vernon. It's in southern Kentucky.
Yeah.
And she had to quit school because of the depression and help out her family
Mhm.
economically. So she just did not, and the only education she would have got was like, well, one of those little small schoolhouses.
Mhm.
So it wasn't going to be very good. And then they weren't, allowing really women to go to college at that point. But she was very intelligent and she would talk to me. She was a really good storyteller
Mm.
about our family, and I really learned so much from her and listening to her and reading. So I get into this uh college prep US history class, and my teacher is a coach,
Mm.
and he's really not paying attention. He's uh just giving us worksheets
Mm.
instead of teaching us about the Civil War. We watched Ken Burns documentary on the Civil War,
Mm.
which is very good
Mhm.
and probably definitely way better than he could teach it. Um, and I just was like, man, this could be so much better. This could be so much more engaging
Mhm.
than, I mean, this is a college prep class. They didn't have honors, so this is like the highest level.
Yeah. So real quick, going back to the question, what's like one thing like when you enter a room that you observe or that you're
Behavior.
perceptive to? Everybody's behavior. Okay.
Yes.
And from a behavior standpoint, if you walk into a restaurant, let's say, what kind of behaviors are you, I guess, alert to or more aware of or looking for, I guess?
I'm looking for people that are fidgeting,
Oh,
people are nervous, um,
got it.
because usually people are relaxed.
Mm,
You know, most things that we do are kind of routine
yeah,
and we don't think about them
right.
because they're so routine.
Mhm.
And so I'm looking for something different than that.
Mm,
I'm looking for people that are their behavior is anxious or
mm,
nervous or fidgety,
mm,
um, where they're acting differently.
yeah,
Um,
interesting. That
and
that
yeah.
makes sense. Okay, so let's get into the theme podcast question. What keeps you rolling forward, Jon Stone?
Well, having a performance wheelchair, I think. I
Pun intended there.
I mean, and I see this with a lot of veterans, especially like was like, well, I'm not in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
although I have been in them because I've lost track of how many surgeries I've had on my feet, my ankles, my
Mhm.
shins, my calves. Um, and so I was afraid of that. I was
Mhm.
afraid of like, well, I mean, I'm not that disabled. I
Mhm.
was afraid of like, um, am I disabled enough?
Mhm.
As opposed to, yeah, I have lower leg disabilities that are classifiable
Mhm.
um in the different sports. So
Mhm.
I was more thinking of a stigma of like, oh no, I'm going to be seen as the disabled guy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
and I was very afraid of that.
Yeah.
Um,
I think a lot of people are.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree. Um, but what I've found is, um, being an athlete growing up and having sports that meant so much for me, I thought when I got hurt in the Marine Corps, I thought, oh man, I'm never going to be able to do those sports.
Yeah.
It's like over. A part of my identity, it felt like it was dead.
Mhm.
And um really as a society, we don't value sports as a lifelong pursuit.
Mm.
One of my professors at Xavier when I was in the Masters for Sports Administration used to always, that was his mantra,
Mm.
that sports should not be seen as, okay, you're a kid and you do them and then you become an adult and you never do them again and you wait until you have kids and then they do sports and you support them,
Yeah.
instead of like our society would be much more healthier
Mhm.
if it gave people options throughout their lives where they could participate and maybe
100%.
get out some of the things that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I love that. I totally agree with you. Ultimately, in summary, what keeps you rolling forward is um, the ability to use your wheelchair, your sports wheelchair, so that you can play sports without, or at least reduced back pain and all that. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's awesome. And it's interesting is I actually see that from a coach's standpoint, that stigma of like people not wanting to get in a wheelchair. I do see that also with parents and their kids
oh, you
is
do?
is
Yeah.
like, oh, they've got to walk, and it's
You
like,
gotta walk, right.
yeah. And actually, I watched this. I think it was on TikTok or something like that, and it was this video of how people are who are paralyzed from the waist down or higher, who jump in this contraption that helps them walk on crutches,
Whoa.
and it was super cool. But at the same time, like you'd read the comments of like, "Oh yes, they're walking. That's so cool," and like they'd probably go a meter in like 20 seconds, right? And so, I made the comment on there. I'm like, "Hey, this is awesome advancements, but this isn't sustainable
Right,
compared to a wheelchair."
right.
Everybody's projecting the stereotype of like walking is good
Yeah.
and not what's the most efficient way of getting around, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, I use crutches up until 5th grade. And it wasn't until I got in a wheelchair after a surgery, I had to be in a wheelchair after a surgery for 2 to 3 weeks,
Oh,
that I realized that as a 5th grader, I could carry my own lunch tray.
right.
I could
Right.
also keep up with my friends,
Right.
right? Like somebody could push me if I couldn't push fast enough, and
Right.
I could keep up with them. And I'm like, whoa, like this is a game changer being in a wheelchair. And yeah, I could walk on crutches, but man, is it so much less efficient. And I'm more like people are like, oh, but you can't get up and down steps. It's like actually I've gotten really good at jumping up and down curbs, and
Oh, yeah?
I can go down flights of steps in my in a wheelie and stuff like that. So anyway,
It's incredible. Yeah. Yeah, I run into that even at the VA where, I've asked for, like, a day chair because, like, especially doing stuff with my children
long distance, yeah,
that cause me to stand or to have to walk,
right.
those things are, and for any amount of time, those things are very, very painful.
They're awful, yeah. I can see
And
that.
and they're like, "No, we want you to walk." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"You know what? I would really like to walk too, but I can't do things with my kids that I
Right.
want to do
Mhm.
because you're saying I have to have to walk, and you're saying I have to be in pain."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "That's just not." I think it feels it feels cruel.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the other interesting things is, this is maybe the reason I don't want to get an electric wheelchair, because people are like, "Oh, why don't you just get an electric wheelchair?" One, they're like 4 or 5 times the price at like 20,000, thirty thousand
yeah,
dollars. But
yeah,
but then two, it's like I still want to be able to move around. I think maybe another stigma is like, "Oh, you're just gonna get fat and lazy
yeah.
if you do that." And it's like, well, I don't let people push me unless I absolutely need it, right?
Mhm.
Up like a really steep hill or whatever it
Yeah,
is, and
yeah,
I was always like that growing up. So
yeah.
anyway, what is one tool or system that helps you keep momentum um, in this in life?
Well, I'd say resilience because I mean, going through adversity,
Resilience, I love that.
I really, you know, and I like to talk about it from a way like I was a wrestler
Hmm.
in high school, and um, when you're on when you're on the bottom in wrestling and you're getting beat and your
Hmm.
head is in the mat and it
Yeah.
feels like you there are 3 rounds in wrestling and it's 2 minutes each, but it feels like an eternity.
Mm.
It feels like, "Oh, man, I'm never gonna get up, but I have to get up."
Yeah.
You have to fight your way out of that.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like that's, uh, like a really good description for life and dealing with adversity where you have your, your head on the mat.
Hmm.
You're um and it's difficult. It's really difficult, but you have to fight your way out of that. And it's like that, I think, in tennis, when you're losing, um, and you're not hitting shots,
Yeah.
and it really makes you think about what you have to do. Um, that it's w- it's in your head. The battle is in your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're fighting with yourself,
Hmm.
and
So true.
you have to fight back. Where you're down, you have to keep a positive mind frame
Hmm.
that like, hey, I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hmm.
I don't care if I'm not hitting good shots. I'm not hitting my serve. You know, like this, the next one,
Hmm.
I'm going to, and I'm going to fight my way back.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me that really that kind of mental
What do you say to yourself in that moment when when you've dipped? Like, do you say, "I'm gonna fight back" in your head, or do you say, "You got this," or what's that positive self-talk look like?
I think that's yes, like, okay, I'm gonna hit this next shot
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
Um, because I'm like I can really only control what I'm doing. Um, and I can't control the other player.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm just gonna keep going, I'm gonna keep fighting.
Mhm.
And yeah, keeping a positive keeping positive thoughts. Um, okay,
Okay,
great.
cool. We're good.
Uh,
Thank you.
trying to keep it positive instead of like if you go negative, you're like then it's just things get worse.
Yeah, I totally agree. Here's an interesting one, and I'm not sure how you're going to be able to choose with this one, but what's one of the most meaningful pieces of feedback you've ever received? It's probably 1,000 that you can name.
Well, I never forget this. It goes back to when I was a baseball player.
Mm,
Um, that our coach was, I think we were having a real bad practice. I think
mm,
after a losing streak, and I remember the coach sat us all down, and he was yelling at us. he's really giving us the business.
He's yelling, yeah?
And he's like, "Hey, we'd win the championship every year if you guys played like John."
Mm, wow.
I'm like, "'Cause I wasn't the most talented um player, but I just sold out,
Uh,
you know?"
were you consistent?
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay.
And I'd work on my own. I'd work like, I had a best friend growing up, he lived across the street,
Mhm.
and we do everything together. And he would work with me.
So real quick, going back to your coach, did he say something that was meaningful feedback for you, or it was just like that confidence boost of like, "Hey, do it like John."
I mean, it was confidence in terms of like, "Hey, this is how you're supposed to play the game."
Yeah,
And like, it was like, "Hey," like he's playing the game the the right way, because I didn't really know at
yeah,
that point. I was 8 or 9 or 10.
yeah.
um I knew he really liked me. He worked with me individually. um and he really influenced me a lot in terms of like having a role model,
Mhm.
having somebody that, so he was always really positive with me.
Yeah.
And he was, yeah, he worked with me so much. But the way he said it, like, "Hey, I'm playing the game the right way, and the other players should play the same way."
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of my teammates, they were not playing as hard as they could. They were more talented than me.
Yeah.
But really, it was just that confirmation of like, I can I can only control the things that I do.
Mm,
Um, I can only control my effort.
I love that.
And it's something that really always stuck with me,
Mm,
because as I went on playing sports, I didn't have coaches like him. I
yeah.
had coaches that were unable to like inspire me.
Yeah.
Heck,
Interesting.
I think the first year I played football, there was a coach. He really really liked me, but was really hard on me.
Mm,
And it was like my first year, and I was playing with guys that had played football for 6 years
mhm.
all together. And so I'm like really late coming into the football in our team.
Yeah.
And he said something like that to my mom after. He's like, "I was hard on you because I really felt like you have great potential."
Yeah.
I'm like, "But I thought you didn't like me." I thought,
Oh.
I'm like, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand what he was doing, because it was, I thought he was picking on me.
Yeah.
um, but he did that because he believed in me.
Mm,
He
that's
thought,
awesome.
yeah, he thought I could
But you
be.
didn't know, and that's
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
and I'm not my parents. They didn't really understand how to, help athletes.
Yeah.
Things that I do with my own kids, that they participate in sports and ballet and different things. I know how to support them.
Right.
I know how to encourage them and try to help them to keep going.
Mhm.
My parents didn't know how to do that.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that,
So let me ask you this. One of the things that I really am passionate about, and I like to talk about most podcasts, is purpose,
mhm,
right? And so that's kind of the what keeps you rolling forward question is like what do you find purpose in almost, you know? And
sure,
and the the question that I think is lacking, or the answer I think a lot of people lack to this next question is, I think a lot of people lack purpose.
sure.
And so the question that I have for you is, what do you think is the first step one can take to finding purpose?
I think people need to figure out what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are,
Yes.
and know those things, and like be on a mission of like self improvement.
Yeah.
I think that really, because our lives are so regimented with different things that we're not doing because we love them, you
Mhm.
know. But there are things that we can work on ourselves, and we can
Mhm.
find what our purpose is, what we're meant to do,
Mhm.
what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Um, I think that is really really missing in the rat race that we live through
Yeah.
right now.
I agree. And one of the things that I've found from a purpose standpoint is, I've reshaped the word failure in my head. Like, I used to think it was a bad thing,
Mhm.
but then I heard somebody say, "Hey, if you're not failing, you're not trying. You're not doing hard enough things." And I was like, "Wow, that's so true." It's
Yeah.
um, like go out, challenge yourself. It's okay to fail. Just learn from it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and embracing a failure is a part of a life of your life.
yeah.
There's things like in tennis they don't go well.
Mm,
You know, things that you can't control happen a
mhm,
lot.
mhm,
And that you do fail. And it's just part of life,
mhm.
very much a part of our lives, and it's really how you come back from those failures,
Yeah.
and how that shapes you.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, well, it's time for our wheelie bad jokes segment. So here's how it works is I'm gonna tell you a bad joke, a wheelie bad joke, and I want you to rate the joke on a scale of 1 to 10, with how bad the joke actually is. Now, if you have a joke that you want to tell back, you're welcome to do that. If not, most people don't, and we can go and move on. So, this one I always like to credit Logan Lyle is a guy on Instagram, TikTok, all that. He is great. I highly recommend everybody follow his channel. But I got this joke from him and his channel. But it's great. And for the record, to preface this joke, I do not have a girlfriend. So you ready?
Right.
All right. Here is the wheelie bad joke.
Really.
I stole my girlfriend's wheelchair after she left me. Guess who came crawling back?
Oh my.
uh okay, so that is the joke. How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Is 10 good?
10 is the best.
5.
You'd rate it a 5.
'Cause I
Okay.
think it's pretty fun. Who came crawling back? They literally have to crawl.
Yeah.
If that's their disability.
Yeah. You steal their wheelchair, they have to crawl. So they came crawling back for their wheelchair. Yeah, okay, 5. That's not the worst rating that I've gotten, so I
It's
will
not
take it.
terrible.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
I mean, it's something as disabled people can appreciate.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I always try to cater it towards the person I'm talking to. It's interesting I couldn't find any like good military dad jokes or anything like that, but I'm sure there's some that
There are
some probably are inappropriate for the podcast too, but
all very, very, very
yeah.
inappropriate
Well,
for anyone.
so this is your opportunity. Do you have a dad joke in mind that you want to spit back at me and for me to rate?
I don't. I
No
don't.
worries.
I never really did dad jokes with my kids. I mean, they just roast me all the time anyway.
I love dad jokes.
They
They're like my favorite thing. So I always tell one on the podcast. Okay, so let's get into your military service. So we we kind of talked about how you like got the teaser of like when you were 16 and you went in and talked to someone about it. But what originally pushed you towards the military?
Well, my family's legacy of service. Um,
Ah.
well, my father did not serve. Um, and it endlessly frustrated his mother, grandmother that I talked about, because he could have served with his brother. The
Mhm.
military always likes to do a buddy program. They
Mhm.
like to keep people together. It definitely helps a lot if you have a buddy.
Yeah.
And um, my uncle worked on nuclear subs,
Oh.
so this is really high speed, low drag kind of stuff during the Cold War, um, where he was doing classified stuff the whole time.
Mm.
And my dad, could have served with him, and he was given a battery of tests, and he failed, or he missed one question.
Oh.
And you have to be perfect. You have to be perfect on a nuclear sub. Um, and they told him, "Well, uh, you didn't make it this time. We're gonna retest you in 6 months if you want."
Mm.
He basically said, "Forget it."
Okay.
And it's like that's not how you go into the military,
Yeah.
demanding things like he did. Like he took it personally when this is how they do it.
Mm.
You know, it's not just like him. It wasn't like a personal thing for him. It's just how they did it. Like because he could have they would have put him through school at
Mhm.
like an Ivy League school, and then he would have been an officer, serving over his brother because his brother was enlisted.
Mhm.
Um, and he didn't take that opportunity. And every generation of my family is expected to serve.
Mm.
Um, now that I've done a genealogy of our family, it's like you see the service throughout the centuries. Um, the first person that came here, he became the first sheriff in U.S. history, and then became the third governor of Maryland.
Do you expect that out of your kids too, by the way?
I do not.
Okay.
I think that Stones throughout the years have bled for this country, and I really, well, I want it's a part of my parenting philosophy. I really want them to do the things that they want to do.
Mm.
Like like if they want to serve, I would not be surprised. I really
Sure.
would not be.
Yeah.
But I really want them to have I want them to have the choices that they choose. I don't want them following in my footsteps just because. I mean, and I
Yeah.
also think that they'll have really more opportunities than I did. I was recruited to play like college football, but more for smaller schools.
Mhm.
Schools that you never heard of. Like I found out there was a school named DePaul, but with a W.
Hmm. Okay.
Somewhere it's somewhere in Indiana. It's
Okay.
not the one in Chicago.
Right.
Uh that ends with the L. It's ends with the W. And I was not being a strong student at the
Mhm.
time. I didn't know what it would be like.
Mhm.
And I was like, I feel more comfortable serving.
Mhm.
Um and my parents were really freaked out about it. They were really
Mhm.
freaked out I wanted to join the Marine Corps.
Mhm.
My mom tried for me to join the army because she felt like it was safer.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm not doing this for safety.
Yeah.
Just not doing this for safety. And
Yeah.
They really tried to dissuade me from it, but I was, growing up hearing these stories and my uncle, and it felt more comfortable to join military and
Mhm.
join the Marine Corps, because I wanted to be in the toughest branch, and if I was going to be fighting abroad, I wanted to have the best training.
Mhm.
Um, and that was really important to me.
Yeah.
Both of my grandfathers, they both served. They were in World War II and in Korea.
Mm.
My great grandfather was a POW in World War One.
Oh, wow.
They told my family he was dead
Whoa.
because his whole unit was killed.
Whoa.
Um, and
Did he make it out?
yeah, he lived. He was wounded. The Germans, he says, took care of them. Now my grandfather
Oh.
gets drafted for World War II,
Oh.
and he gives him this advice. He's like, "Don't get captured.
Oh.
These are different Germans."
Oh, interesting.
And he survived a crash. Actually,
Whoa.
he was a bubble gunner, in like B-17s,
Wow.
and yeah, survived a crash. He was rescued by the 82nd Airborne before he could get taken.
Mm.
Um, so and he never talked about it. Our family never talked about what happened to my great grandfather. I mean, that the fact that they had a funeral for this man, thinking he's dead
Whoa.
while he was just captured. And then after the war, when they did prisoner exchange, they're like, he's alive.
Wow.
He's wounded, but he's alive.
Wow.
But they were not talk about these things though.
Interesting.
Um, and I think it really took a very big toll on my family. I mean,
Yeah.
they I was following in their footsteps really,
Mhm.
because my great grandfather, my grandfather drank a lot
Mm.
to deal with what they endured,
Mm.
and that's what I was doing too.
Let me ask you this. What part of service shaped you the most, would you say?
I think it's where you have to be. It cause it. You have to be selfless, and you have to be at the point where. And I would always say this, that you would have to be at the point where you're trading your tomorrows for people in our countries today,
Mm.
and today and future.
Love that.
You know, and you have to be willing to. Well, yeah, you have to be willing to die.
Mm.
Um, that's yeah, that's really what you have to be willing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
You were talking to me when we were going to Chicago about just the boot camp and whatnot, and how strenuous that was, and I'd imagine them whipping you into shape, let's say, shaped a lot of who you are too, right?
yeah, I went into boot camp, really pretty comfortable actually,
Mm.
because my home life had been so chaotic,
Yeah.
and like I went into it knowing that the drill instructors had my best interest in mind,
Mm.
and all the things that they were doing, it wasn't personal,
Mhm.
and it wasn't. It was a part of their jobs.
Yeah.
They created chaos
Mhm.
for us, um, and expected us to be able to thrive in that chaos.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's the only way that you can get through Marine Corps boot camp. That's the only way you can get through 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Uh, and I actually had to do 2 extra weeks because I was injured.
Mm.
I was actually injured twice in boot camp, but
Mm.
which led to a string of what would become disabilities.
Mhm.
Um, but really to be able to thrive in that chaotic environment. Um, I mean, the things that they would do to you, uh, it really messed with your head. You had to really keep. I remember when we first got to boot camp, uh, we were in what's called receiving, and
Mm.
one of the drill instructors that really just get you through receiving, really get you through shots, and they shave your head, they buzz your head. They keep you up for like 60 hours, just straight
Whoa.
up.
Whoa.
Uh, like I didn't know until that point that you could fall asleep while you're standing up. You definitely can.
Wow.
And it's a part of that process of like, hey, you're not a civilian anymore.
Mhm.
And this drill instructor's like, look, I remember saying this. You're gonna feel like you're gonna lose your mind.
Mm.
He's like, but don't.
Mm.
You know, you'll be fine unless really start getting in your own head.
Mhm.
And I remember him saying that, um, because that was a part of it. That was that's why we, statistically only about maybe 70, 60 to 70% of people make it. We
Mm.
usually people 30 to 40% of people don't make it through boot camp.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
my class at Amelia High School in 1997, we had 12 guys join the Marine Corps,
Mm.
and a bunch of other people joined other branches as well. But only 8 of us made it through boot camp.
Wow.
So it really checks out with the statistics.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
because it is really mental, and it really is where they they make you learn to focus around chaos.
Mhm.
And that's really what it takes when you're in combat, because everything is chaos,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and you have to keep your head about you, um, to survive and understand that environment. So I really always think about my drill instructors as people they were great at their jobs.
Mhm.
They did a great job. Um, I had extra drill instructors because when I got hurt, they put me in a medical rehabilitation platoon,
Mm.
which was unbelievably depressing. uh,
Uh-oh.
because a lot of the guys there, they had injuries that where they either blew out different lower body things that they were not going to graduate,
Yeah.
and they would get discharged, and would be like, well, I almost got the eagle globe and anchor, almost,
Mhm.
and it was one of the most depressing places because people were realizing, hey, i'm I'm not going to graduate,
Mm.
and I'm going to be disabled for the rest of my life.
Mhm.
And I really was like, I can't stay here.
Mhm.
I don't want to have that.
You don't like that mentality. It's dragging you down too, huh?
Yeah, cuz I'm like, this is temporary.
Yeah.
My drill instructors really really liked me. They actually kept me on light duty for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Actually, when they should have dropped me into that medical rehabilitation platoon.
Oh.
And really, in Marine Corps boot camp, we go by training days, and they got me through a part of boot camp that when they couldn't get me past. We had to do a PFD, physical fitness test,
Mm.
and you have to run 3 miles, and it's pull ups and set ups.
Mhm.
and I could not run those 3 miles
Oh.
at not at that point. And, so they had to drop me.
Mm.
And to get out of that platoon, you had to do those 3 miles,
Mhm.
and I remember just crying
Mm.
for those 3 miles. I was just in so much pain, but I was like, I know I can't stay here." Um, like, yeah, I I I can't stay in this place.
And you had to do the 3 miles in under a certain time, right?
Mhm.
Do you remember that time?
Say it's around 20
Okay. And
minutes.
and then what injuries when you actually accomplished it? You attempted it a couple times, is that if I remember that 3-mile run?
No,
Just the one.
just the one time to get out.
Got it. So you were you did it you did it the one time, and in that one time, what injuries did you have that made it so difficult to do?
Well, I had, uh, I had sprained my right ankle,
Mm,
and they really didn't they just kept telling me I had a sprain.
mm.
What they weren't telling me is it was, like, the worst kind of sprain.
Oh,
And when they kept just saying sprain, I'm like, "Well, it's just a sprain." I mean, in the Marine Corps, our scarlet letter is, malingering,
mm,
which is faking an injury.
mhm.
So they would always it really kept you in a fear-based environment of, uh, not faking an injury.
Yeah.
But I thought, and I'm a couple months. I just turned 18, so I'm still in that phase of like I'm indestructible.
Mm,
You know, I this is something I could get through. I've gotten, I went through a lot of injuries growing up, a lot of broken bones, and so I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm gonna beat this.
mm,
Um, and instead of like, wow, I need months of rehabilitation to actually totally heal,
yeah.
I rushed back. So,
Wow.
um, I my platoon moved on without me, and I that was really heartbreaking because you really make a lot of friendships there.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the drill instructor actually, my junior drill instructors put a vote to our platoon. They about me staying.
Wow.
And then they're like, they made a whole big deal out of it. They're like, okay, we say we don't believe in democracy here,
Yeah.
but today we do. So we got Stone here. He's injured. The doctors say we should drop him.
Oh,
Um, but I'm gonna let you guys vote for him. Like, and they said it's gotta be unanimous. Like if one person says, "Oh no, I don't want him to stay," then I would have been shipped off.
yeah. And everybody voted for you to stay, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's speaks to the camaraderie of the group. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
I was so scared. I mean, I'm like, did I make have I made anybody mad? But
Yeah.
I have I you know, and I was thrilled. I
So
was thr
so you completed the 3-mile run in the time frame allotted with a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
That's wow. That's gotta be that's crazy. Have you ever heard of David Goggins?
Uh, I know.
David Goggins, he's this really like he's social media, but he's I think he was in the military, and then he ran a race, I think it was a marathon with like a broken foot. And so he's just this really hard guy that's like very disciplined, and like a lot of people have latched on to him because of his like his demeanor of like he's like hard if I could describe him as anything. But anyway, it reminds me kind of David Goggins
Oh, wow. I'll have to look him up.
of what you did. So yeah, yeah, he's a pretty fascinating individual. So
'Cause I had to do something like that. We had to do the Crucible.
what's that?
The Crucible, and they had just instituted this in our boot camp a few years before I joined. It is it's 3.5 days. You get maybe 6 to 9 hours of sleep.
Oh,
You get uh 2.5 MREs, meals ready to eat.
okay,
Those little packages that um with ultra processed food that's really bad for you.
yeah,
Um and it's 54 miles.
whoa,
And I still have the sprain. I'm still hurting from that. And we stepped off. I remember we stepped off. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning and we were going down a hill,
yeah,
and uh my right ankle, uh like I break, or my left ankle, I break it.
mm-hmm,
And I'm like, oh my gosh, not again.
mm,
Um and I remember having to take out the laces in my left boot because it was so swollen.
mm,
And I had known I'm like, probably did the same thing to my left ankle as my right ankle. And I remember um like doing this whole thing, and I spent a lot of time crying
mm,
as well because I was just in so much pain. But I'm like, I am
yeah,
so close to graduating after all the adversity.
mhm. And you work so hard.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, I'm like, man, I have to keep going. I'm not going to tell anybody about this because we had heard stories of like people, I mean, some of the people that were in that rehabilitation platoon that I said that talked about earlier,
Yeah.
th- they had gotten hurt on the Crucible.
Oh.
And I'm like, I can't be that guy. So, gutted it out. And yeah, it was really crazy. Yeah, it was a lot of pain, but like, to the thrill of getting our hemoglobin anchor
Yeah.
it's just one of the great moments of my life. And that's what you get when you finish.
Mm.
And drill instructors present it to you. And we were on top of this mountain uh that you have to climb. And I remember we were the first platoon up, and they're like, don't look down. And I looked down at the other ones, and it looked like ants.
Oh.
I'm like, that's why they say don't look down and don't look.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, right.
We're sort of really climbing this thing.
Yeah.
We called it Mount. I think it was Mount Motherfucker or something like that. Something like that. It
Yeah.
was, and I'll never forget the view. You could see the Pacific Ocean, and like I would just kill to see that again
Mm.
because it was such a amazing view of Camp Pendleton and the
Yeah.
Pacific, and getting your Eagle Globe and Anchor. It was everything that I'd worked for. And they had what's called a warrior's breakfast
Mm.
for us because we're all starving, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, we actually had to divide up our meals ready to eat before we went on there. And the guy that was my rack mate, this dude was,
What's a rack mate?
it means it's person you share a bunk with.
Ah, okay.
This guy traded all his real food, his main meals. He traded it with other people. I think he probably traded me like his spaghetti for M&Ms and hot sauce.
Oh.
He was a first generation American, and
Mhm.
that had some kind of um good memory to him, and
M&M's and hot sauce, like, combined?
yeah, it
Weird.
was weird.
Yeah.
And so this guy is going through the crucible, and he is basically kinda in a point where he's in the dysentery, and they're like, "What did you do?" He's like, and he had to admit it, and they're like, "You idiot," because he's having diarrhea. It's
Oh,
just,
no.
and I've had ancestors that fought in the American Revolution and the Civil War. They died of dysentery.
Oh.
It's very frequent. Well, back then, especially when you don't have vitamins and things like that.
Oh, my.
And they're like, "You guys have to give him your food." And I remember giving him some of my food. I'm like, "I'm so hungry. I'm
Yeah.
so hungry, but he's my boy." Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I'll never forget that guy.
So what's if you don't mind me asking this, what's one of the craziest things, actually backing up, you saw combat after you got through all that, right?
Mhm.
What may I ask what the craziest thing you've seen is, or one of them?
Well, it reminded me of this my granduncle served in the Persian Gulf War,
Okay.
if you remember that, in 1990. And, uh, when he came home, they had this big parade for him in Blue Ash to end the war, and I was like, Uncle, what was your experience like?" And he was a Marine Corps Apache pilot.
Yeah.
He's like, "John, just saw I just flew over people that were surrendering."
Oh.
And that's really what we saw because um, what we do is so, um yeah, we just ambush. I mean, the way that we attack enemies is really impressive to see,
Okay.
and saw people surrendering,
Yeah.
and rightfully so. Uh,
Yeah.
so I wasn't an Apache pilot, but we saw a lot of people just giving up,
Right.
you know? So it's, this whole glorious war stories a lot of the time, like, that they would they would s they would knew, "Oh god, the Marines are here."
Yeah.
Just they'd freak out. So, people surrendering is what I remember,
Yeah.
and that was really smart because the training in both Iraq and Afghanistan was very poor,
Yeah.
and I remember them, like, trying to scare America with, like, these guys in Afghanistan, the Al Qaeda doing these things, like working out and stuff like that. Like, "Oh man, these guys are scared." And when it came time to fight, they weren't they were not the way that they were presented.
Interesting.
You
Okay.
know, I just, yeah, I never forget the way that, like, oh no, Al Qaeda, and and but that's only my experience.
Mhm.
After our invasions, the tactics changed.
Yeah.
Um, so when I talk to veterans that are my age, I'm like, "When were you there?"
Mhm.
'Cause it became entirely different.
Yeah.
Um, and really a different war, and really a different experience
Yeah.
than what I had. And I think that's something that, when I meet veterans of my age, I always try to make sure, like, what years
Yeah.
specifically, because yeah, completely different.
What years were you in it?
Um, oh, is serving in the military,
Yeah.
97 to 2003.
Okay. Okay.
So
I graduated in '03, so
nice.
yeah, yeah.
It was a good year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very good year.
Yep. But yeah, interesting. So you saw a lot of people surrendering. Let me ask you this: if I've got 2 questions in mind. It would you if you could do it all over again, would you take back being in the military?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I knew that would be your answer. So then my next question is, today, if someone were interested in getting into the military, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would advise them, and I've advised people that have joined, is that you have to take care of your body.
Yeah.
Um, the way they made it seem like, and I mentioned it before, is like that you can't be hurt,
Mhm.
and that's not a good mentality for the rest of your life.
Right.
Because I thought, well, I'll be young forever,
Yeah.
and you're not young forever,
Mhm.
and body parts fall apart
Yeah.
when you get hurt and you don't rehab them, and you're really afraid, oh, I got to get back to training, I had to be back to being deployable.
Mhm.
Well, you're really making a decision that's going to cost you
Long term.
long term.
Yeah.
And then it depends on people's MOSs. I
What's an
was in
MOS?
a military occupational specialty job,
Okay.
your military job.
Yeah.
Like that advice, if I'm talking to someone that's joining the Air Force, it's not as much.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about infantry, which the Marine Corps is 70% infantry,
Mhm.
um, and the Army serving in the infantry, you really have to be careful with your body. And you really have, if you get hurt, you have to rehabilitate those injuries fully
Yeah.
instead of rushing back,
Mhm.
because those body parts, uh, they're not they're, you're not going to stay 18 and 24 forever,
Yeah.
and you're you're setting yourself up for having disabilities and being in pain for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I always advise people to take care of your body. If you get hurt, get treatment, make sure it's documented
Mhm.
for the future. If you have a disability claim,
Mhm.
um, that it's well documented,
Mhm.
and because you need your body for the rest of your life. And
So let me ask you this. You talk about taking care of your body, and yet in a lot of those trainings, they kind of put you in situations where your your body is not deliberately not taken care of, as you mentioned, sleep and stuff like that. How do you go through all that training and still take care of your body?
well, I think it's being assertive with, if you have something going on
Got it.
physically.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times it's just you're just so afraid of being called in the Marine Corps a malingerer. It's like the scarlet letter,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
It's like if you get that reputation, it's basically calling you a coward.
Yeah. Right.
It's really close to that.
Right.
When if you get hurt or you're going through something, you have to take care of that,
Yeah.
because also you're not 100% anyways.
Yeah.
So you don't have everything to be at your best.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about lower body, I mean, we carry around packs and all this gear that's like 100 something pounds.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people I know, Marines, Army, that were in the infantry, we all have like lower body injuries or pain or different things,
Yeah.
and those things don't have to be as bad as they are
Right.
if you're like assertive and say, hey, I need to get this taken care of. And then if there's rehabilitation, you go through
Yeah.
that rehabilitation instead of rushing through it. Like, I'm back. I'm ready to go. And not even being close to 100%. I mean, things I rushed back. Yeah, I
Y
should not have rushed.
yeah, so I can think of 3 hurdles. You mentioned the coward, but then another one that you mentioned earlier was staying with your group, you know? Like, if you take time to recover from the injury, you might be in a different group when you come back, right? And then I think there's a probably, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's a mentality of like it is going to be hard, and you've got to push through that hard.
Right,
And so those 3 things, I would think that when someone is injured, that would greatly increase the probability of increasing damage or pushing through when you are actually hurt and you need to stop,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So like what like I don't know, that almost seems like an impossible feat, though specifically those 3 things, and I'm sure there's others,
sure.
but from those 3 things, like how does one have the cognition almost, or the awareness while going through and having all those pressures put on themselves, them putting it on themselves, to actually be aware that, "Hey, I need to take a step back." Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly hard. I ran an organization for disabled veterans. This is my entrance into adaptive sports. Um, was an organization named Team River Runner that
Mhm.
focuses on paddle sports.
Mhm.
And so I ran our Cincinnati chapter for about 7 years.
Mhm.
And we had a kid that volunteered with us. He's a freshman. This kid reminds me of me. He's like, I want
Mm.
to be a Marine.
Mhm.
I'm like, really? I'm like, well, how are you going to feel about that in 4 years? Or
Mm.
how are you going to feel about that in a year?
Mhm.
And this kid was a volunteer, great kid. Kept coming back every year. Like, yeah. The only thing that he changed through those 4 years was the job that he wanted,
Mm.
which was comms. And he because before he's like, I want to be infantry, like you were. And I'm like, but I was sitting there telling him all of this stuff as
Mhm.
like, you have to take care of your body. You can't just suck up a lot of injuries that you are going to get from the hikes that we go through,
Mm.
you know,
Mhm.
and yeah, like it. So injuries are going to happen. I'm like, but you're not. I was telling him all these things. Like, you're not always going to be 18 to 22, 24. He served 4 years.
Yeah.
He had a great career, and but he didn't get hurt. But he did take my advice.
Mm.
So now he's out, and now he's living a nice, healthy existence.
Great. Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to maybe uh maybe he doesn't know, because I didn't know. I
Mhm.
didn't know any of those things. The journalists, or the recruiters and people, they didn't talk about those things to me.
Mm.
So I had no idea. So but I throughout those years, I was just, preaching to him like, hey, you got to take care of your body. It's the most important thing.
Mhm.
And if you're hurt, get help.
Yeah.
Don't just, keep your head down and not do anything, not say anything.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I preach those things to him.
Great.
Um, and yeah, it was just really exciting to see him go through his career, and now being out and
Yeah.
living in Texas and has a little family and stuff like that. Because one of the things also I talked to him also about our mental, um our the way that we think.
Mm.
That also goes for, hey, if you're not doing very well, don't be afraid to say something to get therapy.
Mm.
And that's the advice that I would have liked, because I think, um, when you start going through trauma, um, and you don't get help, m
Mhm.
mental health help, therapy, it burns into your mind um, the way that you think, it starts to be altered.
Yeah.
Um, and, like, when I was in the Marine Corps, it was like you didn't talk to therapists because you were afraid that they would flag you as undeployable.
Right.
And that kind of fear as well doesn't help you, like, be able to process trauma.
Mm.
And we all go through it
Yeah.
in the infantry. And um it has led to our in our community a and I think this has always been going on in our community, but a suicide epidemic.
Mhm.
Because we're just told to suck it up, and we're
Mm.
told to not talk, and we're told to keep things inside and suffer in silence.
Yeah.
And that's not helpful.
Mhm.
Um because those kind of things can basically ruin your life.
Yeah.
Um like when I yeah, just knowing other veterans and that have gone through things, it really sets you up for failure.
Mm.
Like when I came out of the Marine Corps, when I got discharged, I was very depressed. It was very like I felt like a failure, felt like, oh, I didn't get to do my 20,
Mhm.
didn't get to go to the Naval Academy, and I felt so defeated.
Mm.
And I remember coming out, and I had the first time I felt suicidal,
Mm.
and I just felt like, man, life is over, and I just did not know what to do, and I was drinking to
Mm.
try to um handle what I had gone through. And when you're in the military, really drinking is the only way that they really allow you to kind of blow off steam, you know.
Interesting.
I mean, it's almost really expected.
Yeah.
Like we would go out and party together in the our unit, we go out and party because, hey, we did this, or
Mm.
and as a part of like camaraderie. Like if you didn't come out and party with us, there was something wrong with you,
Oh.
you know. Or if you didn't drink and party with us, if you weren't the designated driver, you were weird, and you were not you
Oh.
you were not a part of the crew. It
Wow.
was even like about trust.
And John, you've do you drink?
I can drink socially now.
Okay. But
Um,
you didn't then, or
eh,
did you?
no, I actually started drinking in high school. Well, those veterans in my family, I think that my, I think I was hereditarily predisposed to
Oh,
being
yeah.
an alcoholic. When I started drinking in high school, I was about a junior, and I just felt like, yeah, this is what I should be doing.
Right.
It felt really natural,
Right.
and it helped me fit in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Um,
For your mind, I can totally see that because, like, again, as I said earlier, you're incredibly smart. You have that photographic memory, and that probably like tampers it a little bit, you know?
yeah, I mean, I can be in my head like lost, really just lost, and sometimes it's really can be really very self-defeating.
Yeah.
Um, because and that's where like therapy has come in. for me to be able to direct those thoughts, um, be able to direct those feelings that I'm going through and not to be led by them
Yeah.
or to be um a slave to them really,
Yeah.
you know. And really I never thought that I would stop drinking. I was told, I think I was around 22, 23. uh I was having stomach issues and I went to a GI doctor and the doctor, did a biopsy and things on my liver and he's like, "What have you been doing?
Mm.
You have the liver of a 70-year-old."
Really? Is that good, I assume? A
No.
7 or 7D?
70.
70-year-old. Okay, when you said 7, I thought you said 7.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah, I was like,
They're brand new.
yeah, yeah, right, right.
Uh,
Wow, okay.
and I heard that I actually heard that with all my other disabilities, like, they're like, "You're young, you have the you have the joints of a 70-year-old. What
Wow.
have you been doing?"
Yeah.
So this is really common, but this doctor is like, "If you keep drinking, in 5 years, you'll be dead."
Ooh.
Like, you're already at a point where your liver has been damaged irreparably.
Mm,
Um, and if you keep doing it, you will not be alive. You won't be seeing your 30s.
so you were able to curb it at that point?
That didn't that didn't really it wasn't a total wake up call.
Okay.
I went through a recovery program in the
Yeah.
church that I went to, um, where I was a minister at the time for teens. I was a minister for teens for about 5 years,
Mhm.
and some of my fellow, ministers, they were also going through mental health and alcoholism,
Oh.
uh, problems as well, and
Mhm.
they're really the people that actually talked to me about getting therapy.
Mm.
They knew the right questions to ask.
Mhm.
And I remember one of my friends saying, they're like, "Okay, you can't identify specifically why you don't feel good
Mm.
mentally."
Mm.
Like, "Yeah, I don't understand it." They're like, "Well, maybe you should seek help." And
Mhm.
I went to my next primary doctor's appointment and I was like, I told my doctor, I'm like, "I'm having some problems and I can't explain them.
Mhm.
I think they're mental health related."
Mm.
And this doctor said, "What? Are you crazy?" I'm like,
No.
no, 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 no. I just don't feel good. And
Yeah.
my friends think that I could benefit." And they're like, "Well, if you're not crazy," um, and I was afraid for a whole year
Mm.
to I'm like, "Man, I'm not crazy. Do I really need help?"
Right.
And that like I was just afraid of the stigma.
Yeah.
But a year later, I'm like, I got a new primary care doctor.
Yeah.
Uh, and this person was, what that person should have did. They're like, "Okay, we'll get you a consult,
Right.
to mental health, and they'll see you, and see what's going on."
Mhm.
And that was really like the beginning of my mental health journey.
Mm. You know,
Like,
it's great. Like, I think when I mean, I know I'm a little bit younger than you, but, like, when both of us were growing up, mental health was more of a it was a lot more of a stigma than it is today, and it's great how far they've come with, like, kinda getting rid of that stigma of, like, and there's,
yeah,
like, let's say, quote unquote normal people that go to therapy, and it's just
right.
like it's great
Yeah.
for some people.
It
Um,
is. It gives you tools,
Mhm.
like it's like a toolbox, that
Mhm.
you can use in
Mhm.
life. That as before I didn't have any answers.
Mhm.
Like I just didn't know, why did I feel so bad? Why did I feel like I don't want to live?
Mm.
Why am I in so much mental anguish? You know,
So was it therapy that got you through those negative thoughts that you had, or was it a combination of things, or what was it?
it would become therapy. But it would take me 3, 4 years, and I had to drop out of UC,
Mm.
because of the problems that I was having. Um, because I hit a wall,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people hit that wall in their college years,
Mhm.
um, and as opposed to like, hey, we could do some, we can avoid this wall just by um uh, just by going getting help earlier.
Mhm.
And that but I remember the stigma. I remember Prozac growing up
Yeah.
like being this big deal. I remember my mom trying to get my dad to go to therapy,
Mm.
and he's like, "No, I'm not doing this." And my mom was seeing that, hey, he could benefit
Mhm.
from that. Maybe the medicine, maybe the therapy.
Mhm.
So, but I think dealing with that stigma of like, hey, if you have a broken arm,
You need to
you
get
get
it
that
fixed.
treated.
Yeah.
Not doing well mentally, it's just like that broken arm. You can't see it,
Mhm.
but it can destroy your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and probably definitely worse than a broken arm because
Mhm.
it's your head and the decisions you make,
Yeah.
you know, and just if people have that mentality of like, hey, something's not right physically, you go to the doctor,
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Mhm.
same way with your mental health. Because I
Mhm.
mean, being in terms of hereditary, like I worry about this for my kids, like, will they be predisposed for alcoholism?
Mm. Yeah.
You know, will they be like, and I mean, they know that there's a real connection there with
Yeah.
family and family history.
Mhm.
And and I can definitely see it in my family
Mhm.
how my grandfather drank and my great grandfather drank after what they to try to cope, try to
Mhm.
um with what they had endured because
Mhm.
they fought in wars that were different than mine.
Yeah.
But there's this James Gandolfini did a really great documentary called War Torn,
Mhm.
and he examines from the Civil War on how things like, I have PTSD, like how troops were treated,
Mhm.
showing PTSD symptoms,
Oh, interesting.
like the different names that's been given to people suffering,
Mhm.
and and like the after World War I and World War II, they would call you hysterical.
Mm.
They basically label you. That was the term that they were giving to women that were seeking psychiatric help. Like, they're hysterical, and so they're labeling guys that are suffering as hysterical, as basically calling men feminine, which at the time was definitely not the way to get people help.
Right.
Um, and but in that documentary, he talks about how, hey, there's been different names for it,
Mhm.
and it's still the same problem, and it's the problem that will go on uh to the end of time.
Mm.
Um Thankfully, I always give a lot of credit to Vietnam veterans as being the folks that felt comfortable enough when they came home to talk.
Mm.
Because I know, I mean, from my family, those guys didn't
Mhm.
talk.
Mhm.
They didn't talk about it. They didn't feel safe
Mhm.
to talk about it.
Mhm.
Sure, they were afraid of a hysterical label.
Mhm.
Um, and that these Vietnam veterans talked. They
Mm.
talked about what they endured. They talked about what they were going through. And we get in 1979 or 1980 the official diagnosis of PTSD in the uh, DSM,
Mm.
the basically the Bible psychology. We
Mhm.
finally get that diagnosis, and that these guys are not hysterical. It isn't just all in their heads.
Mhm.
This is a real illness that really just destroys your
Mm.
life. And that's exactly what I was feeling like when I got out,
Yeah.
and I'm in physical pain, and I'm struggling mentally,
Mhm.
but the I could deal with the physical pain, but I could not just keep going through life with the mental pain. And I
Mhm.
just remember I had people in my life that helped me through it.
Mhm.
Um, like my best friend growing up, and helped me get to the point where I could seek therapy in a few years.
Yeah.
You know, I had really good people in my life
Mhm.
that really were instrumental in helping me stay alive.
Yeah.
Really,
What's Go ahead.
PTSD is really one of the big symptoms is suicidal ideation.
Mm.
And it's really insane to really think about like before and after, where I was just like, I don't want to live no more.
Mm.
I am just done
Mm.
with life. I don't know what's going on, but I can't live like this. I can't live in this constant mental anguish.
Mhm.
I just want it to end
Mm.
today,
Mm.
right now. You
Mm.
know, to go from before that and to really not have those kind of thoughts is really, it's really scary. I think, it's not rational to
Right.
want to end your life. People that die by suicide, they're not in a rational mind. They're not being selfish. They're in pain.
So it it almost sounds like there was a thread of rationality that you were almost hanging on to. And maybe that's why you're still here with us today, thankfully. Do you, one, is that accurate? And then two, what was that thread, if it is accurate?
Um, well, I just knew to just try to hold on.
Good.
Like that. I've always had like optimism.
Yeah.
Have like that. Um, better times are in the future.
Ah, okay.
I had a graduate advisor who was really inspiring, and he used to end his lectures with, "Better days are coming."
Mm,
He used
okay.
to always say that, and he said that. I remember he said that even when he had terminal cancer,
Wow.
and he knew his days were coming to a close.
Yeah.
And I always think about that kind of courage and resolve
Mm,
that 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 he showed when he was facing death.
mhm.
And I always think about that when I'm going through really terrible times or hard times. That better days are in the future.
Yeah.
You know, and that today might feel horrible. It might feel like you can't make it. You just have to like fight
Mm,
through those days, because better days are ahead. And
yeah.
I really, I hold on to that
Mm,
with everything I have, especially when things aren't going well,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing all that. It's yeah, thank you. The next topic that I want to ask about is your disability.
Mm.
What happened and how did it change your path?
Well, it ended my military career.
Mhm.
And I just felt like I mean, I really couldn't believe it. I mean, I really was like, I'm like, to have pain on a daily basis and to have to manage that, that was a part that probably really hurt my mental
Yeah.
illness. Like, I can't rely on my body anymore.
So you have mostly back pain, right? And it sounds like you might have some ankle pain as well.
Well, um, I've had probably 15, 16 surgeries.
Yeah. Wow.
Um,
On your back?
on my lower body.
Whoa.
Um, yeah. I haven't had. They've wanted to do things with my back and my neck. I fell working with kids
Mm.
about 17 years ago, and but it messed up every cervical disc in my neck
Whoa. Wow. Okay.
and my lower uh back. It really kind of destroyed the L5S1 disc,
Yeah.
and it brought on symptoms of fibromyalgia.
Mm.
And I think and that happens a lot. People get a catastrophic injury, and
Mhm.
then fibromyalgia sets in because your brain sends the wrong signals to
Mm.
your body that you're in pain and you're not.
Oh.
But it's still sending those signals, so that means you're in pain.
Yeah.
And fibromyalgia is really it's very diabolical because it wages war on your energy.
Yeah.
They say to exercise, and you're like,
It
I
hurts.
feel like a ton of bricks
Yeah.
is sitting on my chest.
Mhm.
But um but exercise is probably the best thing uh that's helped. But if you do too much exercise, uh you'll be in pain.
Yeah.
And it was
Fibromyalgia comes from your military days?
um I could have had it before, but the symptoms really hit me after that fall.
Okay.
Like, I remember I was having a lot of knee pain, and I was going to an osteopath doctor
Mhm.
for the knee pain.
Mm.
And one appointment, this person, well, they didn't tell me they were doing this test. They're like poking at different points in my body. They're like,
Yeah.
"Does this hurt?
Yeah.
Does this hurt?" And it's like 21 points.
Mhm.
And if you have 14 of those, you have fibromyalgia.
Oh, interesting.
I had 18,
Wow.
and it really uh yeah, even from a standpoint of like wearing clothes,
Yeah.
it's those pressure points are usually where your clothes are, around your hips, around your neck, you know.
John, we don't want the visual that you walk around naked all the at home, okay? Come
That would be
on.
fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You
No,
know,
but so it wasn't in the military that you got injured, it was the fall that you were working with kids, and that's how you got injured?
yeah, but it could have been before. It could have just because I was just still sucking up like our mantra in the Marine Corps, suck it up,
Mhm.
rub some dirt on it,
Yeah.
Uh, uh fibromyalgia is underdiagnosed in men.
Yeah. In
Um
men.
in
Okay.
men because we have that mantra
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like,
Mhm.
just don't say anything.
It's fine.
Everything's fine, you know, hurt in silence.
Yeah,
And a lot of times men will be suffering in pain and not go and get help because it isn't specifically like, "Oh, okay, I did this and I'm getting help."
yeah,
But it's still massive amount of pain that you are in,
yeah.
and it's like, yeah, I mean, I remember my dad's like, "We don't go to doctors unless we're gonna die," you
Yeah.
know?
So you sprained your ankle in the military. Like, so specifically in the military, I mean, you were wearing huge heavy packs on your back all the time too, and but specifically, what when you fell, you were working with kids, and did you just fall and trip or
I was playing with them
ah
'cause I really I was doing I was working in a camp at that point, but I was doing a before and after school program.
mm,
I was a director for that, and we'd have, you know, we'd take the kids to the gym, you know, exercise being so important, and they'd always be like, "Come on, come and play with
yeah
us," you know? And I was still at the point where I'm like, "I'm not that disabled, man. I can
mm,
play with kids."
mm-hmm,
And, we were playing dodgeball,
yeah
and, I was about to throw a ball at a kid, and I
mm-hmm.
just slipped. We were on a playground, and I just slipped, and, my feet went out from under me. I put my, arm down to pad the fall,
Yeah,
and I just remember, when that happened, I could not feel anything from my neck to my right arm.
right.
I'm like, "Did I
Wow.
just put my shoulder out of, just or I didn't know what was happening."
Mm,
And really what happened is when I put my, uh, hand down, like, to pad that, the trump or the reverberation went up through my neck,
mm,
and so it messed up all of those. You have, like, 7 or 8 cervical discs, and it just
yeah,
and I think they were messed up before, honestly, because
from the military.
yeah,
Mm,
I think there was yeah, they probably were not shipshape,
yeah,
you know, just I I was just already overwhelmed with all the stuff that was going on in my lower body,
yeah.
and yeah, it just, I mean, that, was another life-changing
Mm,
event
mm.
that changed how I live, and I still remember that osteopath doing I'm like, "Why are you not working on my knees? I am here for my knees. My
Yeah.
knees are the problem."
Mm,
But they knew the right questions to ask, and, um, I'm thankful for that, but I knew people with fibromyalgia before that,
mhm,
and I knew what it did to them.
mhm.
Like, it is a completely disabling illness.
Yeah.
It completely can ruin your life,
Mm.
you know? It can destroy your energy, put you in pain constantly, and it really can just ruin your life.
So, is there you said exercising tends to help. Is there anything else that you do that helps out?
Uh, well, a better diet helps too
Okay.
as well. I tried all the certain medications
Mhm.
and they did not do much.
Mm.
And the side effects were made it worse or
Oh.
not worth taking the medication for the relief. It gave me a whole bunch of other problems,
Mhm.
you know. So it it's exercise that makes the biggest difference.
Yeah.
But if you overdo it, then you it brings on all of those symptoms and worse. So
Mm.
it's like there's like a fine line that you're always especially playing tennis as much as I do.
Mhm.
Um, I'm really always afraid of that line,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and well, we'll talk about tennis later, but, you hurt your wrist as well, with, maybe tennis elbow, huh?
Well, my wrist, I think, it was just not having a dampener,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and
Get a racket dampener is the moral of the story.
moral of the story, I don't know how it makes it. Well, I mean, I guess it just takes the the reverberation from your racket from
Yeah.
constant hitting. Um, I have felt I'm really thrilled that I have not had any elbow problems because in that fall I broke my elbow
Oh, wow.
and I did have some kind of tennis elbow after that
Mm,
because I think I rushed back, you know, to trying to be active.
yeah,
Um, that that kind of mentality from the Marine Corps, I still had it. And, so I've worried about having, elbow pain, and I haven't. I'm really
yeah.
thrilled that I haven't had it. I try to ice it as much as I can. That's why I wear, compression sleeve,
Mhm.
you know, make sure I'm promoting, uh, recovery,
Yeah,
so I'm really thrilled I haven't. That's the one thing I worry about is if I have elbow pain because I
mm,
just have that history of it, and there's arthritis there too. So, but yeah, you know,
so going back to the injury, um, what did recovery look like after you made that fall? Were you in the hospital?
yeah, they brought me to the hospital because yeah, I could not feel
Mm,
anything.
that's gotta be scary.
Yeah, it really was because I broke my wrist in football in high school, and I knew my wrist was broken. It was pretty apparent,
Mm,
and it was kind of a similar situation, but I was more expecting that. But this was I can't feel anything. I what's happening?
mm.
Um, yeah, and then I was in a ton of pain then I could feel it, you know.
How long were you in the hospital for?
Um, Not very long. They actually did not treat my neck pain.
Really?
Yeah, they kind of ignored.
Whoa.
They really
Okay.
ignored it, and they're like, "Okay, we're just gonna try to fix your elbow. I was in a cast and a splint and things, and they just were really just
Excuse
focusing
me.
on gesundheit."
Thank you.
Um, yeah, so I'm just having all this pain, and I'm still in that suck it up. I'm in my late 20s. I'm
Mm.
still indestructible, and yeah, that's not the case.
And so that fall was what discharged you from being in the military?
No, this was after I got out.
Oh.
This was about 15 years ago.
You were discharged from the military though, right?
Mhm.
Because of your ankle?
My feet,
Your
my
feet.
ankle, and my shins
Yeah.
are all just they were destroyed. I've had to have surgeries to have, uh, hardware put in,
Oh.
hardware taken out because
Wow.
it didn't work out. I've had yeah, both feet and ankles have been basically totally reconstructed.
Ah.
I
Wow.
I actually have a donor's hamstring in my right ankle that my doctor fashioned into an ankle.
Oh.
So organ donors, it's it's very important.
Wow.
It's like I was an organ donor before, but the fact that I have somebody's hamstring working as my ankle is, really
That's crazy. I've never thought of an organ donor giving a hamstring. Like I never knew that was even a thing.
Well, there's so many things that they can do with
Mm.
people. I think I saw something like there's like 300 things that they can do
Wow.
with your body
Mm.
when you die. And
Interesting.
that's what I want to do. I'm not going to use the body anymore.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, right.
But if I can help somebody like that person help me, I am really thrilled about that.
Yeah.
Really am thrilled about it because I'm not gonna need it.
This is kind of a side, but I guess it's kind of interesting. I used to listen to these second date updates with it was a radio show and on YouTube they just ran them all together and so I'd listen to hours and hours and hours of this. One of the second date updates was this guy who called in the premises you contact the radio show saying, "Hey, this person isn't getting back to me after the second date after the first date.
I've heard of this.
Help me figure out what went wrong." And so they always try to speculate as to what you think went wrong and stuff like that. And in this particular one that I listened to, I guess like when they got ID'd, probably for alcohol, the waitress or waiter mixed up their licenses, and she took a look at the license and handed it back, and then after that moment, it was just dead. The conversation, and so he's like, "I have no idea what happened." Well, turns out after talking with this girl, the the guy didn't have organ donor on his license on his driver's license. And so she was just like done. And he was like, "Listen, like I have no qualms with giving my organs away. I just didn't realize that I didn't have it and you pointed it out. So thank you." And she's like, "No, you're inconsiderate. I am just done with you for
Ooh,
for not wanting that." And so obviously there's no second date after that, but that was the reason was the
wow.
person didn't have being an organ donor on their driver's license. So,
I wish they would do more public education about it.
mhm.
You know how it can help other people. It can also it helps the environment because of what they do to your corpse.
So so here's a little bit of a conspiracy. I know somebody who doesn't want to be an organ donor because if faced with a situation of essentially it's along the lines of, well, if they see I'm an organ donor and I'm close to death, they're not going to help and resuscitate me or whatever else because they need those organs or some sort of
I've heard that.
conspiracy like
I've
that
heard
too.
that.
It's interesting. Which maybe there's truth to that, or like I don't know the hypothetical situation where if there's a really important person dying and you're dying, they're gonna choose the important person over you or something along those lines. And I don't know. It's just an interesting segue, I suppose.
Well, I don't. I wouldn't think that even the people that are working on you would know that you are. And I think all the medical personnel that I know, they do their best to
Yeah.
keep you alive, but
Mm.
they're not sitting around thinking, "Wow, you should be an organ donor right now."
Yeah, yeah,
They're
yeah.
just gonna be like,
Right.
"Okay, we're getting hands off here," and
Yeah.
think they do their best to keep you alive. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all the people I know, they're in the medical field are really, yeah, focused on that,
Sure.
and they're not thinking you're gonna be an organ donor.
Mm,
I but I have heard people say that though.
yeah.
Well, they won't work as hard on me, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm always fascinated by let's say we'll call them a conspiracy theory, just because I think some of them are often founded in some sort of truth or maybe an observation of what they perceive as true. And so I'm always fascinated to understand why someone believes that. I've never That's not a rabbit hole that I've ever dove down or anything like that, but Anyway,
because it's a whole different thing when you're an donor and you die.
yeah.
That's a whole other people having to make sure that your body is intact,
Mhm.
and able to harvest those organs,
Mhm.
because if they don't get to you in time, or
Yeah.
you're not any good.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, yeah.
so they're a whole different outfit, but I can see how people would be afraid of it because we
Mhm.
just don't have a ton of education on it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times conspiracy theories will have a shred of will have some truth, but there sometimes there's just not of an understanding of like what the whole process or that happens. So, but it
Sure.
usually happens, I think, around people's fears.
Mhm.
Men, especially, people are definitely, concerned about their body, and but I'm thrilled to do it. I hope my body can help somebody like the donor that has helped me. I really
Yeah.
hope that they can do, if they could do one thing for somebody else, yeah, it will be worth it. Or medically, med students get to work with you. So
Mhm.
I think that's incredibly valuable. I
Mhm.
think. Yeah.
All right. Enough of organ donor conversation. Let me the next topic I want to ask you is so you are neurodiverse,
Yes.
and that basically means that you're on the spectrum. And we talked a little bit about the podcast. You prefer to say neurodiverse instead of on the spectrum.
Hmm.
Can you, before we dive into that, can you just elaborate on why you prefer saying neurodiverse versus on the spectrum?
I think it's a terminology that avoids stigma.
Mm,
I think when people talk about autism, there's a huge amount of stigma
mhm,
to that,
mhm,
and um, I think there are people on different ends of that spectrum.
mhm,
I'm on the high functioning
mhm.
part.
Yeah.
So like my parents really, I mean, and I think there is a lot of times parents are afraid when they see their kid that isn't hitting certain milestones,
Yeah.
to like, oh, maybe they're autistic, maybe they're neurodiverse, and um it's not the same for everyone.
Mhm,
um and I think also there's a ton of people that are neurodiverse that
mhm,
don't know it,
mhm,
and it's not like there's a treatment for you. It's just how it is. It's
mhm.
just how your brain works in a certain way, and
Yeah.
people are afraid of when your brain does not work
Mhm,
the way that it's expected. I like to say, like, people that are uh like we would say ABs or able bodied, like I would describe it as neurotypical.
mm, mhm.
Um and that's
Is
fine.
anybody really neurotypical though? Come on, like we're all weird in our own
Oh,
ways.
sure. Oh, no doubt. That's I also education, I think,
Yeah.
goes into that, because we were talking about before we start, I get to play in a softball league with other people that are neurodiverse,
Mhm.
called the Joe Nuxall Miracle League.
Cool.
And I really enjoy it because I get to be around people that are their brain is similar to mine,
Mhm.
although they might be not as verbal, or might not understand total social cues,
Mm.
but I know how their brain works,
Mhm.
and they know how mine works. And
Mhm.
so there was a way that I can communicate that they understand. And I think, um, you know, I don't get to be around,
Mhm.
um, enough people like that, even though I think it's much more prevalent in our society that we want to admit
Mhm.
or acknowledge, or like, hey, these guys are, it's not that much difference.
Yeah.
But hey, there is a difference, and sometimes that can really affect your life more
Mhm.
than others.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, uh, there is a lot of neurodiversity,
Mhm.
you know, and I think if we, you know, really embrace that, I think it would be very, very helpful.
So I have a hot take that I want to run by you, and so I'm going to speak from a disability perspective since I have a disability. Um, but one of the politically correct version of disability now is individual with a disability. And
Oh
the
yeah,
thought process there is, and you know, I'd assume you know a lot about this as well. But the thought process there is you put the individual first and that they have a disability, right? You won't,
right.
you don't say disabled. Disability is like almost defining the person. So my hot take is I hate that,
Really?
and I get the premise,
Mm-hmm.
but I think like as we evolve as a society, these words keep changing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think these stereotypes, if you will, about disability
Yeah.
follow that changed word. And it's not necessarily the word disability that
Mm-hmm.
that I think needs changed. What I think is the public perception about disability, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like you can call me a cripple for all I care. Like
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm not suggesting anybody call me a cripple. That's a derogatory word, or call anybody else a cripple. But it's one of those things where I I don't care what you call me,
Yeah.
because if you call me a negative word, like if you call me a cripple,
Yeah.
like I just you have no value. Your words mean nothing to me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like and it's my decision to receive your words in in a positive or negative way.
Sure.
And if you call me a cripple, I probably don't know you,
Okay.
because nobody that I'm friends with or close to is going to call me a cripple in a derogatory way.
Right.
And so at that point, it's like I don't even know who you are. Like you're nothing to me. It doesn't matter what you call me. And so
Yeah.
when we talk about like on the spectrum, autism, neurodiverse, uh, I I I think my fear with changing these words is it's just those perceptions that aren't true are just going to follow that word, and until people until it becomes a common word like autism or on the spectrum or anything like
Yeah.
that. So I'm curious what you think about that.
No, I mean, I think that's true. Like, I think, I mean, ableism is so ingrained in our society that
Mhm.
that people are, that when people are not,
Mhm.
um, they can't rely on their body or their mind the way that people that are able-bodied and neurotypical.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we're all seen as less
Mhm.
than, and I think language can help. I think language can help, but also what you're saying, if you're just gonna bring the same, if you're still gonna have the same mentality, it doesn't really matter what language it is.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it'll just follow us
Mhm.
instead of like, hey, we're different. We're people are different,
Mhm.
and there's nothing wrong with those differences.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with them. I think sometimes language can really help that,
Mhm.
But if the mentality from people um that are able-bodied, if that doesn't change, then it doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I can really see that, like doesn't matter what we say,
yeah,
how we want to be described, how we describe ourselves,
yeah.
if people that are different can't get with that or can't accept that, um, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I think it's also just like an education piece. Like for example, like an able-bodied who doesn't have a family member or friends that have like have somebody who's disabled, like why should they care about the disabled community? And quite frankly, that's a very valid question when maybe they care about their kids and their kids' friends and other important things that are in their life that like obviously that are maybe more pressing than disability, right? And so it almost makes sense. And I think for me and disability, it'll just be a forever like
Yeah.
education piece. And I
Yeah.
don't know that I can blame somebody for being ignorant about that, because there's so many things in the world to get
Yeah.
educated about,
Oh,
right?
yeah, and, I think our society is in denial about it. I mean, there are 70 million of us
Mm,
in a country of, I think, 340 million people.
mm,
So it's roughly 1 in 4
mhm.
Americans, and that's undercounted,
Yeah.
because we're all trying to fit in
Mhm,
to what is considered normal or able,
mhm.
you know, where there is a lot of fear of like, oh, well, if I'm not those things, do I want to just keep faking it? Uh, or I think it's easier to fake it if you can,
Yeah.
you know.
It is easier. I love uniqueness. I love awkwardness or like maybe not awkwardness, but I love being different, you know? And so many people just want to blend in with society or whatever else, and I think that's almost something that's missing from the world. And we are human beings that want to be part of a tribe, if you will, right? And
Yeah.
we do want to be part of a circle,
Yeah.
right? And so it's kind of natural human behavior to want to blend in, but
Yeah.
embracing those uniquenesses in a tribe is also very important.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I think about when you're talking about being crippled, I like how like within our community, you can just call somebody a crippled bitch,
Mhm.
you know? And like it's it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How this
Or like you see somebody struggle and you're like, "God, you are so crippled right now."
oh man, disabled bitch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I really love that. I
Mhm.
really really treasure it where you can be who you are,
Mhm.
without pressure to be somebody that is has to fit in and has to be certain ways.
Yeah, yeah.
I really love that about like, yeah, it's not offensive to
Yeah.
call you a crippled bitch.
Yeah, 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 right.
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
okay, so let's go back to neurodiversity. When did you first learn that you were neurodiverse?
Well, probably when I was a kid and I was sitting in speech therapy. They used to come and get me. We used to have speech therapy during recess.
Mhm.
And so I'll never forget, the teacher coming out like looking for me. And I'm like trying to
Oh,
hide.
yeah.
I'm trying to hide. Like, oh man, can I hide behind you? I just want to play.
Mhm.
And like, wow, my friends are playing and I have to go do this during
Mm.
recess. That, oh man, yeah, that's very different.
Yeah.
It's my friends are playing and I'm working on pronunciation,
Mhm.
you know, and I knew my sister wasn't that way.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that really dawned on me. But my parents, they really, I think they were afraid to really talk about it that way. Like, hey, you have a son with disabilities, you
Yeah.
know, and I think they were very afraid of
Mhm.
that label. But having speech development issues really does hinder your learning,
Yeah.
and it really does change your those developmental milestones.
Mhm.
But I caught up, you
Mhm.
know, I caught up with where I was supposed to be, but it, you know, took a long time,
Mhm.
and I wish there was more of an embrace like, hey, this has been a legitimate obstacle to overcome.
Mm.
That's that's taken years and years.
Mhm.
Um and how that that changes you, and um I think that's really important to embrace, like, because everybody has challenges. Sometimes they're just bigger,
Yeah.
you know, than others, you know, and I think, yeah, embracing that kind of adversity, I
Mhm.
think it's very, very important. I think if I would have, they would have had more kind of classes for me in the way that I learn, I think it would have also maybe would have more excelled
Mhm.
than I hate this, I hate school, it's boring, I don't, I'm not doing well, I'm doing, was, you know, more mediocre student,
Mhm.
and because they weren't really acknowledging, hey, he's had to try to develop as a kid the same as the other students, and I think
Mhm.
there was frustration because I was gifted,
Mhm.
and I think that's a lot of people that I know that are neurodiverse, they're really, really gifted.
Yeah.
Well, because their brain doesn't work in the same way,
Mhm.
um, that it's, you know, you're seen as something other, something that's defective.
Mhm. So you being neurodivergent, does your sunglasses that you have on right now have anything to do with that?
Well, that more probably, I mean, and I don't know if the neurodiversity, it, like, I have migraines,
Yeah.
um, and I'm sensitive to light, um,
Yeah.
photography,
Have you always been?
uh, you know, I don't know if I remember. Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, it sort of just got worse after I've had several concussions.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, the migraines really started after that accident.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I just know with neurodiversity, like some things people are hypersensitive to. Like we have a player with Cincinnati Tennis Foundation who's autistic, and he's mostly nonverbal, and you'll just see him like kind of covering his ears every so often. So like that noise sensitivity, right? And so I almost just kind of connected the dots in my head that you being light sensitive was maybe connected to being neurodivergent.
it is.
Okay.
It is. It's a sensory dysfunction,
Mm.
like where um my body doesn't take in the same information the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes I really prefer having headphones
Mm.
because of noise is a very distracting,
Yeah.
incredibly distracting.
Yeah.
Like I hate talking on the phone
Mm.
because I I go a lot I go on a lot of like visual cues.
Mhm.
Um and when you're talking on the phone, you don't have anything visually to follow along.
Mm.
Um yeah, so
Interesting.
and I hate the noise, like, the background noises, like, it's very distracting.
Mhm.
That's always been that way, and so it's really because of my body just doesn't take in those cues and
Mhm.
process them the same way.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, when I see folks like you're talking about, like, hey, they have the headphones on,
Mhm.
and yeah, I really understand that my body isn't just as bad at taking in those signals as those folks
Mm.
are, but I definitely can relate to them though.
Sure.
Like I really can.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Let me ask you this. What has been a bigger challenge? You being neurodivergent or your physical injuries?
It's a good question. Um,
They're
bec-
different.
yeah, because well, yeah, I mean, it really being neurodivergent, I think it really does affect kind of everything versus some of my physical disabilities,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, sometimes it just feels like they're both tag teaming me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm getting like in a boxing match, I'm getting hit from all sides.
Yeah, I
You know,
bet.
um, yeah, I just know like yeah, I think yeah, neurodiversity probably is more of a bigger is a is a bigger challenge, and especially because I didn't get the treatment early on other than speech therapy.
Yeah.
Like I needed a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, I think that is like a good example of this is our practice shirts at UC. I uh I cut the I put a little cut right here because it's more comfortable that be loose around,
Mm.
and then I cut my sleeves off.
Oh.
And I came into practice and Jake is like, I hope you didn't do that to all your shirts. I'm like, no, I just did it to two because I was a little worried. He's
Yeah.
like, no, he's like, I want you to have the sleeves on and the
Mm.
don't cut your right here.
Yeah.
And I mean that's been an adjustment because he's like, we do want to play our games with polos on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it's heavy right here.
Yeah.
It's distracting to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Oh.
but it's just it's funny. It's part
Mm.
of the culture,
Mhm.
tennis culture.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
which is different than the other sports that I
It
played.
is. It's
So
very different.
yeah, playing in a collar
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
What strengths do you feel autism gives you as an athlete or just as a person?
I think I probably understand people a lot better
Mm.
um, because I'm sort of always thinking about where people are coming from
Mhm.
because sometimes I might not understand them,
Mhm.
you know. So I'm tr- sensitive to how people think and
Mhm.
how they handle their lives and how they come across. How do they communicate?
Mhm.
What ways do they communicate?
Mhm.
You know, um, so I'm always really thinking about where people are coming from, um, because I really have to be able to understand it,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
really understand the people that I'm dealing with in life,
Yeah.
you
That's awesome.
know. So it kind of makes me more sensitive to what what people are dealing with in their own lives,
Yeah.
their own challenges,
Mhm.
and and everybody is,
Mm.
you know.
Mm. So okay, let's transition. Do you have anything else to add about neurodiversity that maybe we didn't cover that you were like, "Ah, I really want to talk about this?"
Um, No,
Okay.
I think
S so
yeah,
then let's move on to wheelchair basketball and tennis.
right.
So what drew you into wheelchair basketball?
Well,
And by the way, for the record, you started wheelchair basketball first, right?
actually, I started wheelchair football first.
Okay, okay. And are you doing wheelchair football regularly though?
Uh, no, because
Okay.
we don't have a team
Yeah.
yet
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Cincinnati.
Okay. So the two sports that you're playing now is wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis.
Yeah,
So okay, so then let's talk wheelchair basketball. And you found wheelchair basketball before you found wheelchair tennis, correct?
correct.
Okay. And what drew you into wheelchair basketball?
Well, having the Cincinnati Dragons
Yeah.
organization, um and I was wanting to get better chair skills
Mm.
for wheelchair football is what
Ah,
I was thinking.
you will definitely get that in wheelchair basketball.
Yes. Yeah. And well, really, when I wanted to play it, we didn't have an adult team with the Dragons at the time.
Oh.
Um, so I was just going on Tuesday nights to the practice, or basically it's kind of more like an open gym where we just scrimmage and
Mm.
things like that.
Cool.
Um, but I grew up playing stand-up basketball.
Ah, okay.
Uh, I really enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
actually wasn't good enough to be on our high school team.
Mhm.
Uh, I was we had a really good team, and so it forced me into wrestling. So,
Mm.
but I always I enjoyed it tremendously. I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped playing, other than messing around, and then picked it up, 3, 4 years ago when I
Mhm.
was in a chair, and it is striking how much of a difference it is playing in a chair
Mhm.
and trying to steady yourself,
Yeah.
uh, to shoot and to be, off balance in a
Yeah.
chair, and the way that, uh, it's such a challenge, that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But if the first, like, even like last year was really my first year of playing
Mm.
all year, um, any wheelchair sport.
Mm.
And it was frustrating at times
Mm.
trying to, all right, the chair is moving and I gotta do
Yeah.
I gotta either dribble or shoot or play defense,
Yeah.
and like it just
And push your chair.
push your chair, like, and yeah, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
But I've always really enjoyed a challenge, and and that's what it's been.
Mm.
So
Awesome.
I feel a lot more comfortable playing. Feel
Mhm.
like, okay, this is what I need to do.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'm not always able to do it, but
Mm.
at least now I have an idea, like even how the chair is supposed to fit,
Mhm.
how you're supposed to be uh s- put in that chair,
Yeah.
and because I got my first chair about 4 years ago,
Mhm.
um, and now I've lost a lot of weight. Now it doesn't fit me,
Yeah.
doesn't fit me at all.
Yeah.
Um, and I had to Victor, I had to
Put pads.
yeah, they put pads, and it just
It's
it
not the same.
no, it's not. And it took a year really of fighting the VA over it. And I remember I even brought in Jake
Mhm.
to one of my appointments,
Yeah.
and the person that I was dealing with like acted like they knew everything about chairs, but
Mm.
really didn't know how you're supposed to fit in them,
Yeah.
and because I'm
Because
like,
able-bodied people don't know, and you they've really gotta experience it in order to really understand.
yeah, yeah, I'm like, I have all this space. I have all this space,
Yeah.
and that's not how you're supposed to fit in
R
a chair.
right.
You're supposed to be basically one with the chair.
You know what's interesting is you mentioned able-bodied people, or you just mentioned you having to use your hands while pushing and doing everything with the basketball and all that. And one of my favorite things is getting like a really good basketball player in, or even a tennis player, a really good tennis
Yeah,
player into a wheelchair, and like them shooting,
yeah.
they always airball their first
Oh,
shot, it
yeah.
seems like,
Oh, yeah.
because much of shooting in basketball is bending your knees and using your
Yep.
knees and your legs as that spring.
Right?
And so they get in the chair and they're like, "Oh yeah, let me just do the same kinda thing that I normally do," and they're just airballs. So, it's interesting to, and yeah,
And
anyway.
I just saw this. I got to play in a tennis tournament in Los Angeles at the Angel City Games, and they had an exhibition where they put, current, Los Angeles Laker
Yeah.
Austin Reeves
Mhm.
in the chair, and it
Mhm.
just watching him do, like, "Oh my gosh, this
It
is so crazy and
yeah.
weird," and, like, he did, but he actually made a shot,
Nice.
which I was like, "No chance. No chance you're gonna make," because all of his other shots, really bad.
Yeah.
Really, really, really bad,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he's like a fish out of water, like anybody you put in a chair.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how to push it, you don't know what to do.
Mhm.
And, like, he's like 6'6" or 6'7". He's got his knees all out and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
But I still can't believe I mean, it's on YouTube and stuff,
Yeah.
like, where he made that shot, and everybody went nuts. It
Yeah.
was it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
But his other shots, they didn't even hit the rim, that maybe hit the I think they hit the backboard.
Yeah.
That's it,
Yeah.
or airballed, yeah. It was complete fish out of water, so
Mhm.
it was cool. I think, yeah, we should put more able-bodied people in chairs to just for people to get that experience.
Yeah. So here's one of my hot takes. One of my other hot takes is I think able-bodied people should be able to compete in wheelchair sports for that reason. I think when when I was growing up, I'd watch tennis on TV,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, this is so boring.
Yeah?
Golf, I feel the same way. I just can't
Oh, so
watch those.
boring.
But now that I've played tennis, I love watching tennis. I don't do it very much, but, I think because I can understand the difficulty of the shots that they're taking and all that, instead of just seeing a ball, like, go back and forth on the court, I
Mhm.
think it's that understanding that I've gained that has really helped me. And so, just from an awareness piece, I think if an able-bodied person wants to play wheelchair sports, they should be able to. Now, one of the things that I've always said is, how in basketball, wheelchair basketball, there's that point system.
Mhm.
Well, I do think that able-bodied people should have a higher score
Oh,
in that
yeah.
point system, right? Tennis,
Yeah.
it's a little bit more difficult. There is a
Right.
quad and a para division, but maybe we have an everyone division. I don't know. But what are your thoughts on able-bodied people playing wheelchair sports?
Well, in the Move United League in football, they're allowed
Cool.
they're like a 5 point,
Okay.
like I played for the Browns for the first 4 years, and I remember we just didn't have the players, and one of our coaches suited up,
Mm,
and he was a 5 pointer.
yeah.
So, but he was out there. I think that there is a way for like, we even have able-bodied people that show up on Tuesday night for basketball,
Mhm.
and it really helps people. It helps numbers,
Mhm.
um, and I think there is. there's room for that.
Yeah,
I think there's room really kind of for everybody, actually.
I like it. The only stipulation that I would put on it is, and this is like, well, what's the point of them competing in wheelchair sports if they can't do this? Is I don't know that I could make a case for an able-bodied person playing wheelchair sports in the Paralympics.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, not in that kinda competition.
right.
No, you gotta have a real classification, I
Mm,
think. Yeah,
mhm.
you can't have, like, able-bodied people totally
Yeah.
at the highest levels,
Mhm.
but I think participation-wise, we could really use it,
Mhm.
and those folks could be maybe hopefully be ambassadors because we all know people that could participate in wheelchair sports
But, like,
that aren't.
currently, like, we went to the Chicago wheelchair tennis tournament. We have a tennis tournament here in Cincinnati. Like, you can't an able-bodied person could not play in those in those, and I do think they should be able to.
Yeah.
But, again, I think there needs to be some smarter people than me that talk about the guidelines behind that,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like that 3rd division of you have quad, you have para, and then you have
Sure.
everybody.
Yeah, I think people have a lot of criticisms for just that lack of classification in tennis.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, just quads and
Mhm.
everybody else. It's not like I was watching, like I sent you that video of like I think these guys are playing wheelchair tennis at Wimbledon.
Mhm.
And these guys, they don't have any legs.
Yes.
And like they're able to just move the chair.
Yeah. They're very quick.
Yeah. And it's like, wow, they have an advantage over us. Like they don't have anything in the way.
Yeah.
Like they could just, there's, I mean, I wish I could be able to do that.
Well, the other criticism that I think I have is so you can play in quads if you have 3 or more limbs impaired, and so that's basically you can have 3 both pinky fingers and a pinky toe that's messed up essentially, and from my understanding that, and then you can play.
Wait, I
So
could be in that
yeah, you might be able to because of your
too. In, yeah.
I'd have to like really that's the simple form of the rules from what I've gathered. I'm sure there's a little bit more parameters behind that. But
Yeah.
within the quad division, you can have abs. You can have your
Your
trunk
trunk
control.
control.
And I don't think in order to play in quads, and maybe it needs to be more defined than just this, but
Sure.
I think if you have abs or like all your abs, let's say,
Yeah.
I don't think you should be able to play in quads.
Sure.
Just because, like, if you look at Elliot, our quad,
Yeah, Elliot, the man. Yeah.
yeah, right.
I love the guy.
There's such a difference in how he can move versus. I
Yeah.
believe he's the guy that won the quad Paralympics this last go around. If you look at him, he has most of his trunk, if not all of his trunk.
Yeah.
He's
Trunk
missing his
control.
legs, and he has maybe a finger or two missing on his arm or something like that. I don't remember,
Oh.
but he has his whole trunk, and that's why he's able to serve harder, and that's why
Yeah, your
you know.
trunk is everything.
Yeah, it is.
It
So
really is.
I don't know if there's a rule difference that I could change right now. It would be redefining what quad is because you having
Sure.
trunk
Yeah,
control
yeah, yeah.
really changes everything.
Yeah, you're right.
But then in the para division, you have people that are paralyzed higher that have full use of their arms. And you or I who have control of our abs, we do have an advantage over that.
Yeah, I
So
would do.
the downside with that is, we had what 40 people come to our last tournament here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, yeah, get
So like
going.
how many divisions are we going to spread out before it's like 3 people in that division in the United States,
Right,
right? And then the competition doesn't get as good because of that, right? So
right.
it's this catch 22 of like we we
Yeah,
don't want to define them too much because then that hurts the competition, and I don't know.
yeah, I think it yeah, I think there's a lot of room for a development of the different of like a point system,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, because trunk, you can do, even though I have really bad control of my trunk because of my lower body,
Mhm.
it's a really a problem
Mhm.
because it really just feels like I'm pushing it around
Yeah.
because of my lower back, but I
Yeah.
still do have that some control. Yeah, I think there is a conversation people could have about, hey, can we define this a little better? Maybe not down to the minute
Mhm.
details where it's like now you have a division of very small numbers.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think there is conversation people above us can
Yeah.
should have. Uh it does it does recognize the
Mhm.
specifics of, yeah, the specific challenges
Mhm.
that, yeah, like Elliot, versus us,
Mhm.
what he can do, what he has control over. I mean, but I really think it's inspiring. Going through these tournaments is just seeing the way that people
Yeah.
have disabilities and
Mhm.
like are still out there playing, like people with like one arm.
Yeah. That's why I love wheelchair sports is because people can find, someone that they relate to and be like, "Oh my gosh, that guy does that?
It's
I can do
amazing.
that too." And yeah.
Yeah. Like our last tournament I was at, there was a guy playing basketball. He didn't have any hands.
Mm.
He just had, you know, he's pushing with these right here. And
Mhm.
like he was shooting the ball
Mhm.
and he was really good. He was
Mhm.
still really good.
Mhm.
And I was just like, man, this is unbelievable, man. He
Mhm.
doesn't have any hands.
Yeah.
And he's still out here doing it.
Mhm.
I just yeah, I think there's so much inspiration in seeing our athletes overcome things to just keep out
Mhm.
that are out here doing the things. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love it.
Okay. So talk to me about wheelchair tennis. How long after you played basketball did you discover wheelchair tennis?
Well, I think it was like conversations that we had. Um, so I was playing basketball at the time. Really, that was really my first year
Mhm.
of participating.
Mhm.
So basically, I'm only like 6 months into playing regularly. Our
Mhm.
playing wheelchair football was not as intensive.
Yeah.
Um, and so really, I'm just really 6 months into being pushing every week
Mhm.
is when I
Mhm.
and started with the CTF practices.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I was really afraid of it because I'm like, man, it just seems like it's harder than the other
Mhm.
sports, and you have your racket, and
Yeah.
you have to push with that hand, and you have to, yeah, all the different intricacies of
Mhm.
tennis.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, I just, yeah, I'm like, man, I'm afraid
Mhm.
of this, but it's been such a gift.
That's
Um,
awesome.
for me. And like I can, like me and Mozzie were talking about this. Like I'm like I could see just playing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Playing this game because it's
Mhm.
such a joy. And like I got a good friend. He's able bodied. We play, and how different that game is. Um, and yeah, I really love the sport. I didn't know if I would like it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought maybe I'm just gonna be like struggling, you know,
Mhm.
maybe hating life,
Yeah.
and yeah, that has not been the case. The only frustrations I feel is just learning
Mm.
what you have to do and trying to do those things,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
which feel very unnatural,
Yes.
extremely unnatural. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I remember thinking the summer, like, how am I ever gonna do this serve?
Mm,
How am I this just seems impossible,
yeah,
but, uh, just over time and practice, then
yeah.
now I feel comfortable doing it.
You're getting better and better, that's for sure.
Thanks.
What do you think the hardest the hardest skill in wheelchair tennis was to learn or is to learn?
Wow. Serve,
Yeah, there's
serve.
a lot of components of the serve. I
Yeah.
think I think the other one that's challenging for a lot of people is the mobility of it
Oh,
because
yeah.
you can't sidestep left and right and all that. So
Yeah, the way learning how to move your chair
yeah,
and, like, to keep momentum when
mhm,
you have to do turns.
yeah,
And the right way to do turns,
mhm,
versus the wrong way to do them, where you
mhm,
lose all of your momentum and you're really just starting over,
yeah,
which I think is always really hard to do,
mhm,
is changing directions.
yep,
Yeah. Next to serves would be changing directions and not losing ground.
mhm,
Um, Yeah, but all the different intricacies, I I really like them and appreciate them.
yeah, that's
You know,
awesome. What does tennis give you that basketball doesn't?
mental challenge,
Mm, yeah,
because when you're out there, playing basketball, you're not really thinking.
mhm,
You're really just kind of reacting. You know, to things.
mhm,
So you're really kind of, I guess, kinda mentally checked out in a way, which is awesome. It's
mhm.
great. I really like it. But in tennis, you have all this time to think,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so true.
It's just like it can feel like an eternity in your
Mhm,
head. And especially if you're not playing well,
mhm,
and you're not hitting your shots
yeah,
and the other person is.
mhm,
And it's like that mental battle, I think,
mhm,
is just it sets it apart from the other sports
yeah,
where, if you don't have a positive uh dialogue going on in your head, you know, you play worse.
mhm.
It doesn't get better, it gets way worse.
Yeah, and the other difference is, especially if you have, like, a bench in basketball, like, you can just get pulled off the court if you're mentally messed
Yeah.
up and take the time off the court
Yeah.
to recover from that.
Yeah.
In tennis, you if you get in a mental rut, you gotta get out of it yourself,
Yeah.
and then you can't coach during a match as
Right.
well, so,
Why is that rule? What is
um
that rule? I mean, I don't really understand.
I think, and I don't know for sure, for sure, but I think that's a rule because they want to test your cognitive ability as well in
Really?
tennis, and so you got to figure it out on your own, and so like you can do a lot of prep work and all that, but when you're in the match, you gotta do it all yourself.
Mm.
And so, that's my guess, but they have gotten a little bit more laxed, I think, since I was
Really?
younger. Um, there was one tournament that you could coach at. It was called the World Team Cup.
Oh, yeah?
It was one that I had traveled to Europe for multiple times,
Wow.
but um, the you can coach, I believe, between the second and third set,
Oh,
but you can't otherwise.
really?
That's it. Yeah, from what if I'm remembering it correctly, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I don't it's funny. I was playing in our Cincinnati tournament, and my kids are there,
Mhm.
and they're teenagers, so they're basically on their phones. And my son came, sort of, like, through, like, the curtain thing. He's like,
Oh.
"Dad, how much longer?" And there was an official, and she's like, "Hey, no coaching." I'm like, "Oh, that's my kid bored,
Yeah, yeah.
wanting to go home. He
Right,
doesn't care. He
right.
wants to go home." And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, okay, it's all good." But that person was like, "Bam,
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah.
coaching."
I think I know who you're talking about. There are some officials that are just super rigid and like, oh man, you know, in Chicago, I had an official that would come over to our court and be like, "What's the score?"
Mm,
And it was like, "Lady, you don't,
what's
you
this?
should not be asking me what the score is."
Oh, really?
I no, I it was really aggravating
That
for me, and
is.
I actually went up to this official afterward because she kept asking what the score was, and you're supposed to say the score before you serve.
Right.
So she's not patient enough to
Yeah.
wait to figure out what the score is. Because if I have to talk to somebody outside of my
Yeah.
match,
Yeah.
that's gonna take me out of my element,
Right.
and I don't want you to do that.
Right.
So you can officiate if there's something in play that is an error or you need to jump in on, go ahead. But it is not your role as an official to ask what the score is when you don't know. And what is that? What purpose is that solving for? By the way,
Yeah.
I'm in the A division, right?
Yeah.
And so in the A division, those are experienced tennis players.
Very.
It might be understandable in the like the C or D division for her to
Yeah.
be like, "What's the score? Let me make sure you're on the right side," or
Right.
whatever else. But we are
We don't.
in
Yeah.
the top division, so like stop asking. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead.
I think, like, I've seen, like, especially in matches, I've seen, like, people make people make bad calls,
Yes.
or like that's out.
Mhm.
And I saw one guy at that tournament in A's,
Mhm.
he lost because this other guy was calling them out and they were
Oh.
not out.
Oh.
And
I think I know what match you're talking about.
everybody, we're watching,
Mhm.
they're watching the match, and we're like,
Mhm.
that's egregious.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the person was mad.
Yeah.
Person was mad, and it's just like, I don't think that's the right way to play. I think our matches have supposed to have an integrity about them.
Yes.
You know, I think that's also very different than basketball. You have a ref there,
Mhm.
but in tennis, you ref.
There's one ref on like 6 courts.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they're walking around. You know, they're sort of paying attention, but they're just kind of walking around.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not looking at lines and things.
Right.
And
So here's one of the piece of advice, and I don't know if you know this, but you are allowed to call an official over to watch your match.
oh, okay.
And so my rule is if there's 3 very absurd calls,
Yeah.
I'll call an official over. Um,
Yeah.
Now, if it's 3 throughout the entire match, maybe not, but, like, it depends on how deliberate I think the person's being with just complete blatantly obvious calls, right? So
Yeah.
you can call an official over, and then they can also they'll be able to stay there pretty much the entire match, unless they're the only one there, which hopefully they're not, but
Yeah.
if they'll be able to stay there and watch your match, and you still call your own lines, but the official, because she's watching or he's watching, they can overrule the call.
Mhm. Okay.
So food for thought. Um, in it's a very common thing to get bent out of sorts from
Yeah.
bad calls,
Yeah.
and so it's like it's one of those things that you have to realize it's just part of the game, and you
Yeah.
can't let that get in your head. And
Yeah.
again, you can
Agree.
make a mental note, "Okay, that was 1, that was 2, okay,
Yeah.
that's 3, now I need to call an official." But,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very hard to keep your headspace when you know the person is
Yeah.
not doing they're doing a disservice to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a big difference
yeah,
in our game than others.
yeah,
There's
yeah, it is.
referees,
Mhm.
and then it's all on our integrity,
Mhm.
and sportsmanship.
Yeah. But even in like a 5-on-5 basketball game, referees aren't going to see everything as well.
Right.
So you can be like, "Hey, this guy keeps doing this to me. Can you keep an eye out for it?" And you can tell them. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else on wheelchair sports?
Well, I mean, wheelchair sports has given me a new lease on life.
Yeah.
The things that I love to do that I thought was just, I would never do them
Yep.
again. And to
Mhm.
have a chair and to have organizations like CTF and the Dragons and having the bridge,
Mhm.
and Danny Meyer, like having those things, I think they're life changing.
They are.
I think for veterans, especially
Mhm.
with disabilities, where it it can change your life. It can give you something to look forward to. Maybe tomorrow,
Yeah.
maybe you're struggling with today,
Mhm.
and hey, I get to play basketball, or I get to play tennis or football or whatever it is. Like, it can give someone a reason to
Mhm.
get through dark times,
100%.
and that saves lives.
Yeah.
Like, I realized that when I was, in Team River Runner, that if I could give a veteran an opportunity to do things with other veterans and to be out in nature, you know, I know that there's possibility that I'm extending somebody's life.
Mhm.
And I think the way sports are transformative, and they that they can make such a positive impact
Mhm.
on your life and give you a community,
Mhm.
you know, where you're around like-minded people. You can call them a cripple bitch.
Yeah.
You know, I think that makes so much difference, because I think being whatever you want to call it, having disabilities or being disabled, whatever that is, I think it's very isolating.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
very yeah, it's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah.
And to have our communities, it really just makes so much of a difference that it can change your life. It could give you a reason for living,
Yeah.
to continue to live, so you can get to the point where you can thrive.
Yeah. It's certainly changed my life as well. I started sports when I was wheelchair sports when I was 10, and the f- the fact that I didn't find it sooner is just,
Yeah.
it's about that awareness of like doing that. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Um okay, one other kind of question, and Matt Dectus, I asked this to Matt Dectus, the CEO and founder of Cincinnati Tennis Foundation.
Oh, wow.
What is the most underrated tennis skill?
Wow, that's a hard one. Wow. They're all important.
Mhm.
I think moving your chair.
Yeah. So Matt, without thinking, said the mind. And I was like, "Whoa, that's good." And I 100% agree with that answer.
Huh?
What do you think?
The mind?
Yeah, the most underrated tennis skill.
Well, I think there's a lot of truth to that, because your mind is telling you where to move,
Mm,
or you can't move.
mhm,
It all starts in your head.
mhm,
And like we were talking about, like where you have the time to think, you have the time, and it feels like an eternity,
mhm.
you know, feels like longer than it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you can win or lose a match just the way you think.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
if you think you can't do it, then you can't do it.
Mhm.
If you think you can do it, you can will yourself
Yeah.
to excel.
Mhm.
Um, so I'd say, yeah, having it in your head that that you're going to be resilient when
Mhm.
things go wrong. And that kind of mental battle that you go through in a match,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, it's everything, you
Mhm.
know. Yeah. I mean, it does start in the mind. It
Yeah.
does.
Okay, so another question. So it's interesting. I usually do a disability segment around this time. We talked about individual with a disability and my thought on that. We talked about able-bodied playing wheelchair sports. Those are often questions that are in my disability segment. So we won't necessarily do a disability segment. Um, but one of the the questions that I have for you, um oh my gosh, I just lost the question that I was gonna ask. Okay, well, I guess maybe it'll come back to me, maybe it won't. But do you have an awkward story either about your physical disability or perhaps being on the spectrum or just a unique run-in, let's say,
With disability?
with any yeah, with being with yeah, with any of those.
Wow, well, probably a lot, really. Yeah, uh, I guess when I got out of the Marine Corps, I still had the itch to play football,
Mm.
and I was a walk on at UC. Uh, but the only way I was able to do that is I was taking steroids.
Oh,
It was the only way to deal with the pain.
yeah.
Um, and I should not have been out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really were tackling dummies, and that was at a time when UC was in the Rick Minner era where we were very second place to the
Mm.
basketball team and Bob Huggins and their number one teams.
Mm.
So it really almost was like it was really almost like high school in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, Moeller and Elder, one of those, they'd play in the Nipper, they'd fill it up, and we were playing in front of 4,000 people.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
more people were there to see those kids than us,
Mhm.
you know, and I think having to take steroids to just do what I was doing really was like, yeah,
Mm.
you're really in a bad way.
Yeah.
You don't you don't have the physical abilities to really do this,
Yeah.
and then the side effects as
Mhm.
well. And I knew I shouldn't have been doing them. You know, I mean, I remember the after school specials
Mhm.
on it. Like, I remember seeing an after school special. I think it was one of the first performances that like Ben Affleck
Mm.
ever had in acting. And he like played a over the top guy having roid rage.
Oh.
I remember him busting up a room.
Yeah.
It was comical, but it was like, yeah, you don't want to be that. You don't want to get to that point. And
Yeah.
I was at that point. And I'm like, I gotta quit, man.
Yeah.
I can't just keep acting like everything is fine
Right.
when I'm sitting here having to take steroids and it's not
Mhm.
good for you and the
Mhm.
side effects are terrible. And
Yeah.
I was like, I really have to have to have a real talk with myself. Like,
Mm.
hey, your body is different forever. You can't fight it.
Yeah.
Uh, you shouldn't be doing things that are gonna hurt you forever.
Right.
And to do it
Right.
and trying to hold on to the idea that I was, not able bodied,
Yeah.
and hit the wall of like reality.
Right.
Like, this is how it is now. Uh, Life has changed forever.
Mhm.
And if you're doing steroids to do something, you're not doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a question that I usually like to ask randomly at some point in the podcast. And this is what what I forgot earlier. Um, Without looking, how long do you think we've been podcasting for?
2.5 hours?
We've been going for 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't that far off.
Yeah, you weren't that far off. A lot of people guess. Everybody guesses less than what we've actually been going for,
Oh,
and
yeah?
you were probably closer than a lot of people. So, I just for some reason I like to ask that. One of the common hurdles that I have to getting people on, I'm always like, hey, my podcasts usually go 2 to 3 hours. Can you go that long? And they're like, "Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I don't know if I can do it for that long." And there's just so many like excuses about the time that
Mhm.
it's like I promise you, you're gonna think it's just gonna go by just like a breeze.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
it's always a fun question that I have.
Yeah.
So the time just flies by when we're podcasting, and it's
Mhm.
so fun. Um,
Yeah.
a-
Agreed.
and the other well, I'll move on to this. So we're basically nearing the end of the podcast, and so in closing, before we actually go into that, do you have anything else that you want to share or talk about before I get into like a few closing questions?
No, no.
Okay. What is one thing you hope viewers get out of this episode of us talking together?
Well, people have the people have different challenges, and that those challenges should be embraced,
Mm,
and that they don't mean that a person is defective,
mm-hmm.
uh, because we're wildly adaptable as humans,
Mm-hmm.
and that we don't all fit in a box,
Mm-hmm.
and differences don't have to mean that the people aren't less than,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that like embracing our differences, I think,
Yeah.
is really important. Like, cause like a lot, like the idea of like sometimes everybody will come up and say, "Wow, you're really such an inspiration,"
Yes.
you know, and it's like, okay, okay, how, sometimes it's like you don't really know what exactly is going on
Mhm.
in their head. Um, and I always say, like, well, you really need to embrace your own challenges.
Mhm.
I am in a wheelchair doing sports,
Yeah.
What I know is people have their own things,
Mhm.
and it's not really good to like compare those exactly to mine.
Some of them are invisible and you can't see them. They look able-bodied and
Yeah,
there are able-bodied people that have invisible problems. So yeah.
that's right.
What do you think of that word inspiration? Like when someone says you're an inspiration?
I mean, sometimes it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I think awkward
Yep.
because it's like I'm not doing the things I'm doing to be inspiration
Yeah.
to other people. That's
O-
not why I'm doing it.
Or you don't know actually what I'm doing in order to really be inspired, be an inspiration, right? Like I used to work in retail and people would be like, "I'm so inspired by you working here." And it's like and they don't know anything about me. They didn't know that I was a top wheelchair tennis player or anything like
Yeah,
that. They just were happy that I got out of bed every morning. So,
yeah, yeah. I think it's always yeah. I think that like we were having our tennis practice. I remember recently, and we practice at this place where people are playing pickleball, lots of pickleball.
mhm.
And this one lady, I remember she told me and Mozzie, like, "You're such an inspiration." And
Yeah.
and it just we didn't really know if we're like the subjects of inspiration porn,
Yeah.
or for people that don't know what that term is that like we get picked out, or especially elite athletes get picked out uh as being something to inspire able-bodied people.
Yeah.
And it's really sort of, in a way, it's kind of sort of dehumanizing
Yeah.
our experience
Yeah.
when our challenges are different. I mean, they're
Mhm.
similar, there are similarities,
Mhm.
um, but it's not good to compare yourself to us.
Mhm.
Um, and people really need to understand what theirs are,
Yeah.
their own challenges,
Mhm.
and to not look at folks like us as just inspiration. It's cool if you are, that's fine. It's
Mhm.
kind of like similar to people come up to veterans and say, thank you for your service.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's kind of hard to know what to say,
Mm.
you know,
Okay.
as in, because my service is different than other veteran
Yeah.
services,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, or like what what we went through.
Yeah.
Um, and it's, I, other than to say thank you, I always say, well, it's a long family tradition,
Yeah.
um, which it is. But
Yeah.
for the longest time, I just really didn't know. Like, sometimes I feel like telling them what I went through.
Yeah.
I'm like, or, you know, like sometimes I'm like, do you know what you're thanking me for?
Yeah.
And it's just can be a little weird. But if
Mm.
anyone thanks you for doing something, then it's, you really have to acknowledge you- that some appreciation for that.
Yeah.
Because not everybody should be, everybody can be in the military. It's always like people that are like, they'll tell me, they're like, I would punch a drill instructor if I joined.
Oh.
I wouldn't be able to handle getting yelled at. And sometimes I'm like, dude, you would not do that.
Yeah.
You would not do that, because they would just pound you
Yeah.
into the ground, and then you would be out, and
Yeah.
you're sitting here with the with a dishonorable discharge.
Mhm.
Like, you're not gonna punch somebody yelling at you,
Yeah.
like, or the I almost joined.
Mhm.
We hear that a lot, and it's just like, you don't need to do those. You don't need to do those things. I think it's
Mhm.
very similar to us as adaptive
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
We're not the bar for somebody that doesn't have those
So
challenges.
so here's something about inspiration that I've talked about in prior podcasts is I'm okay if somebody wants to be inspired me by getting out of bed. It's patronizing, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, my my hope, and if someone does say they're inspired by me, I want that person to be inspired to take action,
Sure.
right? I don't want them to just be inspired to get the feels, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like if me getting up in the morning makes you feel a certain way enough to take action on your own life, then good. I'll fall on that sword. I don't again, I don't like it, and I think there's maybe an awareness piece there of like, okay, you're inspired by this person, but do you really understand like what it is? And the answer most of the time when someone's inspired by me getting up every day, they don't.
Mhm.
A-
Mhm.
and so it's taking that time to maybe educate or just challenge that person to like take action on that, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of my thought of inspiration. Any thoughts on that aspect there?
Yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, like people have their own things. They need to embrace those things,
Mhm.
and like you said, action,
Mhm.
you know, is important.
Mhm.
And it's great if we can inspire people.
Mhm.
That's great. You know, not what we're going for. We're just being athletes, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But people need embracing their own and creating action from those
Mhm.
from yeah, embracing what they have themselves,
Yeah.
um, and what they deal with
Mhm.
themselves. And yeah.
But I always say with specifically with inspiration, I always say if someone says, I'm so inspired by you," it's like, "Well, what other choice do I have?" Like, there's 2 routes that I could take, as I could wallow in self-pity and feel sorry for myself, or I can say, "You know what? I'm done with this. I'm gonna take action in my life and work on the things that I can control and improve those."
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, like, can you name one person that would just love to sit around all day in bed and not get out of bed and maybe watch TV or doom scroll on their phone? Like, no, like, you're gonna get so sick of that after a couple days, even for some a couple hours or
Yeah.
even shorter than that. So it's like, no, like, this is more so much more enjoyable than that life.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people find you if you want them to follow you on socials?
Uh, uh Instagram, Jonathan E. Stone.
Okay.
Uh Facebook, um by Thomas Stone
Okay.
there. Or Tom, Thom.
Okay.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
yeah, I mean I mostly do Facebook, but somewhat Instagram. I like Facebook because people have narratives. I like the
Mm,
narratives.
mm.
Um and yeah, that'd be those.
Okay. Well, you guys can find those in the description. And yeah, so John, I just want to say thanks for coming on the podcast. I always love having people that I know come on the podcast because there's always something that I learned from that person that I didn't otherwise know. And so it's been cool to talk to you about your military, your neurodivergency, and wheelchair sports and all that. So you are a wealth of knowledge, and you know, I think some of that knowledge came out, but I don't think people really could see how much of a wealth of knowledge that you really are and how much is in that head of yours. So
Oh, it's a lot.
yeah.
And it's I think yeah, almost in a way when you remember everything, it can be annoying because the way regular people's brains work is like they have an experience, and then if it's not helping you survive, you
Mhm.
just discard it. Your brain just discards it. And
Mhm.
for me, that doesn't always happen. So sometimes it feels like it kind of overloaded
Mhm.
or overwhelmed,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So, but that's just me though. So
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of other people that have. And even it's debatable. People do debate whether having a photographic memory is legitimate.
Mm.
But I only have my experience in remembering obscure things
Mhm.
over years, you
Mhm.
know, which is definitely not uh not most people's experience.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um and I don't yeah, I don't really know why my brain is this way. So,
Mhm.
but it is. That's what it is. So,
Mhm.
you know, I consider I experience time differently.
Yeah.
Like it feels like I feel like time goes by very slowly.
Mm.
As with most people, like, man, everything's going by so quickly.
Yeah.
Like I got my kids that are my son's about to be 15 and my daughter's 12, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Hasn't it gone by really quickly?" And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
it hasn't gone by
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
felt like a long time."
Yeah.
They're like, "You're gonna blink and you're gonna miss it." I'm like,
Mhm.
"I'm waiting on I'm blinking and I'm not missing it."
You know,
You know?
I think we talked about that in the Chicago car ride. Is one of my theories to that is because you remember everything, you can trace the timeline for how long it actually took, versus someone like me who's not. Um, you know, there it's a blip in the radar because we don't remember all those moments,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that probably has a lot to do with it, just
mhm,
remembering everything, and I'm glad, especially as a father, I want it to last as long
sure,
as it is, because they will be 18 in
yeah,
4 to 6 years, and
uh huh,
they'll be off on their own, and
yeah,
I'll have these unbelievable memories
yeah.
to last a lifetime.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, cool. Anything else before we call it?
no, no.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining the Rolling Forward podcast. If you like that, if you like what you heard, hit that like button, subscribe, or leave a comment. I do want to just say real quick, one thing researching the podcast, just doing podcasting and stuff like that, that I didn't realize meant so much is just hitting that like button, leaving a comment. And then, you know, the best thing that you can do is engagement of like time watched is the probably the biggest metric that YouTube pays attention to. So if you did like what you heard, and you could reward me with that, I would so greatly appreciate it. I would love to hear what you thought of this episode. Leave it in the comments. Anything that stuck out to you, or maybe even what keeps you rolling forward. So anyway, I also am wearing this. You know what? I can't stand. You know what? I can't stand. And then it says punctuation matters. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this down. There we go. Punctuation matters. And so this is a Zach Sikora Rolling Forward podcast created shirt. And then you can get one of these at rollingforward.printful.me. And if you do have a story worth sharing, which I think everybody does, reach out to me, send me a DM. You might make it on my next show. So, anyway, everybody, until next time, keep rolling forward. Thanks all.